Hi, ho everyone. My name's Mr. Fruit, and welcome to the GG Over Easy podcast, episode 50. We are joined by special guest John Silva, a mastercraft in the world of art. You'll hear from him. We hear a whole bunch from his lore. We hear about his traveling stories as well, where he grew up, where he went, his time in Japan, how he started in the industry, some stories, horror stories, advice he has for up-and-coming artists, difference between working with indie games or developers and AAA. Then, of course, we have some more relevant news. Apple versus Fortnite. The bout we didn't know we wanted, but, 2020 said, hey, we're not done.
To get my Titans.
Yeah, really Clash of the Titans. We have some more streamer drama in the world with Dr. Disrespect and Shroud. Woo! The big news, Halo is delayed. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? And Avatar live action, well, you'll find out. That's some Patreon questions and more in this episode. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into it. And welcome back to GG Over Easy episode, wait for it, 50. We made it. We are halfway through.
Thank you.
Is that the estimated lifespan? That's got to be eventually the estimated lifespan. As we get better technology, and at least in first world countries, better technology and healthcare stuff. I don't know, because right now the average age is probably, I'm gonna say, like 73. Actually, wait. I think I'm gonna say 76. Females, it's high 70s. Males, low 70s. I'm pretty sure males have a shorter lifespan, and that doesn't surprise me.
But we've definitely exceeded the lifespan of what people thought this podcast was going to be. I'll probably be honest.
You guys remember 2 years ago we were brainstorming how to change the podcast? We'd be right here doing the exact same podcast thing from 2 years ago.
Who knew?
Who would have thought?
Look at us.
We'd be exactly right where we are.
And I'll be the one to kill it. No.
Speaking of which, we are joined by this week's guest, John _Silva _.
Don't forget the double underscore. Very important. Yes. Very important.
Very important.
I quote, he said 1 is too little and 3 is too many. 2 underscores. Yeah. So we are joined by him. We'll be getting into his lore and everything shortly. But I'm actually, I'm going to pull a Jamie here. And I have to look up the average lifespans. Because it's...
My guess would be like 77 for women, 72 for male.
Average human lifespan.
65 for men.
Okay, well, it doesn't go by gender, although I think...
Are you doing United States, I'm just guessing?
Okay, yeah, there is one by country, so let's do that. We'll go US. And then where do you live, John?
I'm currently in Poland, but I'm Portuguese. We'll get to the whole lore thing. It's confusing.
Okay, well, we'll start with your current country then, Poland.
Yeah. Poland's got to be dope, you think?
Poland's probably rolling in it.
Yeah, Poland seems like a great
killing
place.
The game.
I hear Poland, I just think awesome. Like, I hear Poland, I'm like, probably great things there.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
215.
For males, you guys live on average to the age 74. And females live to the average age of 82.
Wow.
They got a lot better.
What's in the water and what's in the water there?
I'm gonna go ahead and say that's probably better than the US. At least the women. Women's okay.
No,
okay. The United States. Males 76. Hey, come on over here for 4 more years, boys.
All right, I'm coming over.
Yeah, come on, 4 more years. And however, females are lower by 81.
81. Okay.
Let's go. US is sexist. What a surprise.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I can like briefly look through, but I don't think there is one country where males. Oh, never mind. Swaziland. I've actually never heard of that country.
You haven't, dude? It's all over the place. What do you mean?
Males live to the age of 50, and females live to the age of 48. So it's not great. But males outlive females in Swaziland.
Interesting.
And that's probably one of very few. Of course, I hadn't heard of it. So my apologies if we have any Swaziland listeners. Love you guys. I'm thinking about you now.
Big fan.
Big fan.
But if you're 48, watch out.
Yeah, but otherwise, like you're running out. You're running out of time. So with that, when we get into today's podcast, we have some juicy stuff to talk about, as always, because everything. Thank you.
What was that?
I have a wife now, Blue. So if you can not come on to me, she's going to be very upset at me.
Oh, I'm sorry. How does it feel like flexing on people now? Like you could actually say, my wife is calling me.
My wife. It makes it a lot easier, and I feel like it has more importance because, like, fiance is this weird in between, and we were there for like 2 years, but like
long time.
It's serious. Like people know it's serious now. It's like wife. Oh, okay. Like that's different. Plus, it makes it a lot easier because people would come over and be like, "Hi, is your husband home?" or something. But my boyfriend or my fiance,
I'll go get him.
Or like, whatever. But now
yes,
it's just,
of course. But now it's
yes,
wife.
Mr. and Mrs. Fruit here, and I'll have you all know, our last name actually isn't Fruit. However, unbeknownst to me, Claire was like, "Yeah, if you want to change it to Fruit, I'm down." I was like,
"Wait, what?"
Yeah, she was like, "Dude, I'll do it."
That's goals.
But I don't know. I figured I don't know if my parents would be mad, like my dad. I don't know. Like we got to carry on the name.
Dude, they would be upset. They would be mad.
I'm pretty sure.
If I told my dad I was naming my last name to Salt King or something, he'd be very disappointed.
Just name it. Just change it to V. That way you're Robbie V.
I think he would still be very disappointed in just it being just V.
The only thing I can see though is I got 4 brothers, so odds are the Miller name's getting carried on somehow. You know what I'm saying?
So like, one part of the family can have Fruit. Like it's fine.
Yeah. Plus, we looked it up. Miller is the 7th most common name.
Oh yeah, come on.
So the world's not gonna miss out on a couple more Millers.
The Miller dynasty. Who? Yeah, the Miller. Which one?
Yeah, which one?
You're rebranding your family, dynasty.
Man. First it was my channel, but now it's my family. We're rebranding.
That would be so funny. It's like Miller, but then it's like blurring and stuff, and it's like an esport kind of commercial, and then it's like Fruit.
Selling jerseys already. Like, join the
like,
Fruit family.
Introducing Christian Fruit. It's like
it just sounds. I don't know.
All right, we need to get out of. We need to get out of this dystopian like reality where you change the last name.
I'm not named Fruit. So I guess since I'd said it, we'll just get through this real quick. I got married this past weekend. August 8th was the big day. And for those curious, we had this day planned for a while, obviously, because everyone was always curious. Like, one, you just didn't know I was engaged, or you're just like, oh, I thought you'd already been married. Because at that point, we've been engaged a little over 2 years. So it's been a while. And some people are like, why in the world did it take so long? Well, we were going to do it last summer, but we were moving houses and then had Fruit Summit. So we're like, we don't want to be trying to plan the wedding on top of Fruit Summit, on top of moving houses and selling, blah, blah, blah. It's just a lot. So we'll wait until next summer. Here we are. And then there's a pandemic. So our venue was canceled and then it wasn't, but with restrictions. And then even with those restrictions, like we were only a little over like a month and a half out at this point, trying to scramble to figure out what to do. It seemed a little reckless, even with, because like they're like, you can have 50 people. It's going to be an outside venue, but that includes like staff, waiters, like caterers. So at that point, it was like you can have like 20 people. And then on top of that, some of them have to come out of state, and we weren't comfortable with that. So we were going to do a backup wedding at my parents. And we were going to only do like wedding party people, pretty much. That and like a friend or two that lived in state. So that way no one was having to come out of state, anything like that. We were following all the social guidelines, had all that stuff. Then some things fell through again. And it was a little about like a month out. So at that point, we're like, oh, Jesus, all right, we don't know what to do. So instead of pushing it back, because the venue, you can't get your entire deposit back. Thanks.
That is
Yeah.
That is a disgrace. That is all. That's criminal.
Middle of a pandemic.
That is
No,
criminal.
you don't get your money back now.
Nah. And like, I get it. You're probably hurting, but think about all the people who put money down and now they're like, we need that, you know? Thankfully, that wasn't my position, but it was still like, all right, we're not going to throw all this away. So next summer, we'll be holding it in the same venue, except there probably won't be a ceremony, or if it will, it'll be like a condensed, shorter one. And then,
I was going to ask.
Yeah, mainly
like
just a big reception, big party, everybody pog.
Tight.
We'll get to the good part of the wedding for at least everyone visiting. So instead, this 8th, Claire and I, just us, we shared vows, did our little ceremony, signed the papers, gave each other our rings, and made it just nice and intimate. And
let me see it.
It was a little. Oh, you want to see it? Okay.
Yeah, can I see it?
Can it?
Oh,
Ow,
wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn, sir.
Dude.
What can I say?
Claire
Is
really
that
wiped.
asteroid?
She
That's
really
what I say.
wiped
I say
it
it's
up for
Mars
you.
rock.
Wow.
Like it's Mars rock. And someone saw like the little rose gold. Like, really? I'm like, no. But thanks. I wish.
It's Mars rock.
So yeah, we exchanged rings. Our witnesses were our puppies. Nice little thing. And then we spent the day essentially doing what we would do at the reception, except we had to drive everywhere. We went to her mom's place, then her dad's place, and then my parents' place. Then we came back and that night had some friends over from town, and just low key, we had some pizza, sat around, played Taboo, hung out, had some drinks, and that was it. That was our wedding day. It was nice and chill, and we made it special. We just didn't want to push out actually getting married. We didn't want COVID to win that battle.
Mm-hmm.
We still got married.
Like, all right, we'll just like do this. Like,
yeah, because it was that, or we'll just push it until next summer again. We're like, whatever, screw it. Was at this point, wedding was just like a formal declaration of what we already knew. So that's it. I'm a married man, and here we are. Screw you, COVID. You didn't win.
Now you didn't wear your suit, did you?
No, we're saved. So we did our vows and all that stuff, obviously, but we're still gonna save presents. You give like the groom and bride exchange like a gift.
Yeah, it's
we can do that.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. And then we're saving her wedding dress and my suit until that day.
I thought she was wearing it to.
She had a dress on, but it was one we went. So again, we wanted to make the day special in a way. So we still did some traditional stuff. We like picked out cologne and perfume for each other to wear, and then we chose each other's outfits. So we went to a store and she picked out my outfit and I picked out her dress.
Oh,
so she wore
nice.
that. Yeah. So it was like special for that day, but it still wasn't like the wedding dress and my wedding.
Oh,
suit.
okay. I had told Sydney that was her dress. So Sydney. So now I need to go and call Sydney now.
No. And so that's one of the things we're gonna do that day.
Have I can I wear the? I'm or like just try on and like show it off a little bit to the people, or no? Is it like
you want to do that right
wear
now?
the dress?
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm just gonna put it on. No, yeah. Can I put on Claire's dress real quick?
Just model it real quick. I'm sure it'll fit.
Is puppies and that's like actually like legal? Like you can actually say like my.
Really? It's changed a lot. Well, you don't even need witnesses anymore. That's the thing. So I didn't even need the puppies. You can like self do it all. You can self whatever they want to call it, like ceremony, whatever. Because you don't need anyone ordained or anything like that. And maybe, I don't know if it's recently changed because of obviously what's been going on here. Because normally if we wanted to do that, you would just go down to like the courthouse, sign it there, and then you have like a witness or two. But yeah, no, we didn't have to do that. So we just signed it. And here we are. So each day will be special, and then moving on, we'll celebrate each day individually.
Put this bad boy on, man.
Oh, okay.
I look
business casual.
I hate how I look in like blazers, man. I just feel like
you look business casual. You look like you're ready to cast an esport.
Yeah, esport. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
And then you stand up. And
it fits good, I think.
Well, that's good.
Oh, he still has the tag as well.
Wait, lay your arms down by your side when you're standing up.
Oh, well, hold on.
Even relaxed. The arms could be extend it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
should-
I mean, it goes a little too short, I think. I
Yeah.
think it probably should go to about maybe there. But
Oh no.
yeah, I mean, it like fits nice and I feel good in it, but I need to take the button down when I sit.
It was not as bad as mine, though. I don't know if I still have the picture. But so for the place we did the suits at, we had to self-measure because obviously the whole pandemic. Originally, we were going to, have a bachelor's party, which we're going to like remake that whenever we can remake that. And then when everyone was going to fly in for the bachelor's party, we were just going to have the whole party go into the store and get measured. It's going to be simple. Everybody
and it was going to be like,
boom.
Woo!
Yeah, like a
Fun
little
thing.
party. But no, obviously we couldn't do that. So everyone had to self-measure at home.
Oh,
None of us are tailors. So they had kind of like how-to videos and stuff, but it's like 30 measurements or something. And we're like,
I originally took down like 12 and then I like started the tutorial and it was like 30 measurements. I was like,
like 1 of 30.
and then
That's
I was
what I
like,
was like.
Sydney, we need to do this like as we go.
I was like, how many measurements can there be? So Claire measured me, and bless her heart, I didn't think she was that off. But we got the suit, and it was comical. Like, I want to know when they made that suit, who they envisioned wearing it. Because I'm not kidding you, the sleeves went about 3/4 down my arm. Like, there was a good almost foot from my wrist that the sleeves went. But then the torso went to my knees. Like, that's why I was like,
What?
who did they think made, like, what proportion? It was bizarre. And it was like too wide. It was,
I do like this color though. Like,
and isn't it?
It's nice.
It's kind of hard to see in this, but it's like a burgundy.
yeah, Ethan was hating on it. He was like, when am I ever going to wear this kind of color suit? And I was like,
Rude.
it's
Wedding, probably.
Rude.
not. Well, no, like we own these now, Blue. Like these
Yeah.
are not rentals. These are
But they're also a lot cheaper though than like
nice.
normal tailored suits.
it's just good to have this. You know what I mean? I'm going to put it back though.
But I put that tux on. It was like, I've never felt more unattractive than right now. And originally I was going to like not show her the suit at all. Like, she can't see me in this. But I'm like, baby, like I'm like, it's bad. She's like, how bad? I'm like, I'll put it on if you want. And then she just laughed and took a picture. So they had to completely redo the suit. But that's why it's like, that was not nearly as bad as my experience. I was like, we went back into the shop. We had to then go actually in. And they were only letting like one people in. You were like masked and everything. But the guy was sitting there like, who did these measurements? And Claire's like, I don't know. No, yeah. That's weird. It was rough. But here we are. That's the wedding story. That's why first off, everybody tell me to live stream it. I got to have some separation. And next year when I do the reception, there's still not going to be a live stream.
Yeah, I don't like. Everyone's like, you should tell Fruit to stream it. I was like that is like no.
It's like one of the most intimate days. To be like, there needs to be a separation.
Yeah, you need to have boundaries.
Yeah. So I mean,
True.
we might have. I'll probably upload a couple like pictures from the wedding next year. But I mean, this one, like when she and I did our ceremony, there was no cameras, no other people, no video, nothing. We just wanted it to be our memory. And then we took pictures with our families and stuff. So we'll still have something to look back on. But yeah, that was it.
And now you have to wait another year, Blue, to hear my best man speech.
Oh.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
At Claire's dad's house, one of, I guess, my now brother-in-laws. So if they're my sister-in-law and they're the person they're married to, does that makes him my brother-in-law, right?
Wait, say it one more time.
Yeah.
So my sister-in-law's husband.
Yeah. Brother-in-law.
Is still
Yes.
brother-in-law? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So my brother-in-law started his speech with, I never believed in you guys and I didn't think you'd make it.
What?
And I was like, this can only go well. But his whole thing was like, but you guys like changed my mind. But yeah, he never told me. But apparently for like the first couple of years, he's like, this isn't going to work out. So thanks.
Yes,
First of all,
why?
First of all, you're at a wedding where you're like celebrating happiness and that you did make it. You don't say, I thought at one point, like you're here now. So like we focus on that.
That's like a joke to tell later on afterward.
That's
not
also
like,
as just as bad as going
ding,
like,
ding, ding.
I never thought Christian would settle down and get a girl because he was running all over the place, like shit like that. Those best man those make me cringe, man.
Have you just been watching like cringe ones? No, like, okay, don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, Pat McAfee was like getting married and he was talking about like best man speeches. And this was still when it was on, like we were still on. And he was like, oh, he's like, that's one of the most important parts of the wedding. And he's like, and if you mess that up, he's like, it's over. And I was like, everything rides on this.
No pressure.
None at all. But so aside from all that, we got that out of the way. I know a lot of people are curious.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back to the man, the myth, the legend, John Silva. Let's
John
first start the name. Where does it come from?
Well, I'm Portuguese. I was born and raised in Portugal. And then I left when I was 16. I'm currently 14. It's a weird timeline. Just kidding.
I was
Fireworks
sitting like,
different in Portugal, huh?
I was like,
I left
from
when I was
Sweden to Portugal, 2 years.
Yeah, I was
No.
like, wait a second. Does time work in Europe differently?
Yes, like, teach me.
And yeah, I mean, Silva is both names are very common. My full name isn't just John Silva. It's at least a Tolkien book. You know how like Spanish or usually Latin kind of names are long. You don't have like one first and last name. You have first name, second name, middle name of your parent, middle name of your
I
grandparent.
was gonna say, yeah, that's what it is.
Lots of hyphens.
Yeah. So that's where my name comes from, because I am Portuguese and I just left Portugal when I was younger with my parents because they made me do it. I had to, go with them because I was a teen.
Yeah,
What was their
choice.
reason for moving? Just work or something, or?
Portugal was going down to shit. Like, even can I swear? Is this?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
You're
no,
fine.
I just didn't know.
Yeah, you're good. Man.
And,
My virgin ears.
Oh, he said the
I'm like,
word.
yeah, as like you see like a slow like drip of blood from my shirt.
He said the word friendship. Anyways, so they pretty much were like, okay, Portugal isn't doing well, so we got to figure something out. And then at the time, my sister and her husband were like, oh, we're gonna try Ireland. And yeah, I've been around. I've been around the block. So let's go to Ireland. They went first, tested the waters, and they're like, yo, come. It's pretty cool here. Both figuratively and literally. It's so cold in there, especially as a Portuguese. But anyways, always raining.
Because Portugal is right on the edge of you're like right on the ocean pretty much. Like right on the edge of Spain, right?
Yeah. And they were like, yeah, come over. So they went. Then my parents were like, all right, you're coming. And because I was super edgy, I was like, no. I don't want to.
Portugal, my roots, mom.
Make me.
Yeah, like, you guys can't make me. No, they could make me.
It was pretty easy.
But I loved Ireland. I was wrong. I'm glad they were right. I'm glad they moved, and I lived in there for quite a few years. And then I moved to other places, if you want to hear that. But that's basically
did you now my question is, did you learn English in Ireland or did you previously learn English in Portugal?
Portugal. I mean, I pretty much grew up like learning English because back in the day, by the way, I look really young, but I was born in the 90s. I was born in 1990. So,
I mean, you're my sister's age. I mean, I'm 94. What do you think? I'm like 07? Like
Millennial, dude.
Yeah. And so growing up with like Cartoon Network and playing games, obviously everything is in English, English dub, English games, and then internet appeared, and it's like, wait, we can play games online, and I was addicted to Unreal Tournament. That was like my first FPS game. I went pro on it. Me and my brother.
Oh,
actually.
really?
Wow.
We were
The
like,
Portugal series is there, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my brother were like fighting for like #1 in Portugal. This was like a long time ago.
Did you,
Mhm.
like, so you attended like lands?
Yes, we did go to
That's sick.
lands. We won them, but there wasn't still that many. And then when I lost interest, I grew up, and I'm like, now I want girls. It's like
That's the natural
I stopped
playing.
playing. Yeah,
Got to give up
It's like-
Unreal for the girls. Come on.
yeah. And then
Well, that's
get
why we do
Unreal
both.
girls. don't know how to do both. That's a difficult one for me. But yeah, I mean that was my very early on sort of gaming and all that. And then okay, so we skip ahead. Ireland, lived in there for a while. Barely finished high school because I hated school in there because it was the first time. It was the first time that boys and girls have different schools. Like, what's
Wait,
up with that?
Was that?
Yeah, like it's a boys' school and a girls' school.
Was that called
And they're-
boarding? Is that boarding schools or something? What is that
I
called?
have-
Like,
Was that
I'd-
Portugal or Ireland?
Ireland.
Well,
So
that does
did
make
you have
it.
uniforms as well?
Sorry, what's that?
Did you have uniforms as well?
Yes. Oh god,
Oh,
I hated
man.
the uniform.
Wait, if it's Ireland, did you have like kilts or something? anything like
no,
that?
that's
Oh,
that's
dude, come on,
Scotland or
man.
whatever.
that's
I
true.
think, no.
Close enough. Close enough.
We're not making this a Jez part 2.
Ireland
where we just
probably
do our-
has. Ireland's gotta have. Well, no, yeah.
No,
I don't
but
know.
I barely went through high school. I was like so done over it because I'm not used to just only having guys. And
Sausage fest.
yeah, there were schools that you could like have mixed and
Mhm.
whatnot, but they weren't very sought after. Let's put it that way. Anyways, barely finished it. Moved out of my parents very early on when I was 18. And then just been traveling basically. Like TLDR is lived in Japan and Poland for quite a bit. I'm mainly here to like save up because it's quite cheap,
Mhm.
you know. And
What made
that
you?
is a very TLDR.
What made you choose Japan and then Poland?
Well, Japan I always wanted to. Just
Same.
overall, like I wanted to visit, like many people, you know. I know I was always infatuated by Japan and most things about it, like culturally. I did visit, and I kept visiting and visiting, and then at some point I was like, okay, I'm moving, and like getting a job in there in a studio. And then Poland is literally just like it's like a stop, you know, like between traveling. Now I'm kind of stuck because COVID, you know.
Right.
But it's just a very cheap country and not bad. I mean, overall, it's getting pretty bad now. But monetarily speaking, it's it's cheap. So I'm saving up a ton. And then I'm gonna travel again once COVID is. I don't know. I know. I wouldn't say gone.
Yeah, like
I wouldn't say gone, but like
dealt with or like have a plan or
contained.
yeah, in some sort of the way.
Yeah. And then
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna be going around the world. Like I want to. If US will still exist by then, I'd like to visit
We're
some
done, dude.
friends in.
I'd bet on the Civil War if I were you.
Yeah.
I got my musket ready.
Canada sounds pretty nice. Australia sounds pretty nice. I have some family there too. And yeah, I visited Singapore too, but that was like very short. It was very, very pretty. Singapore, I have
Yeah.
very, very good memories. But living in there,
Yeah. Do you have a favorite like of a place that you lived? Like if I guess of the ones you have lived in, if you could choose that place, which would it be?
if I didn't have to work in Japan, I would. I'd be there now.
If you
Like,
didn't
if I
have
didn't need
to
to
work,
Yeah. If I
what's
didn't,
is the working conditions there just like
all the stories you hear are real. It's like about Japan. And for those who don't know, it's like crazy working out. And so I'm a foreigner. I get the foreigner pass. Wait, let me clear up. I'm a white foreigner. I get the white foreigner pass because
The double pass.
The double pass. It's like exclusive. The con to that double pass is that you'll never you'll never like be in the groups or like treated as family, or I mean that's not true, but like it's much harder.
A sort of black sheep is kind of like
but they'll treat you very well. Like they'll treat you very, very well. But there's you'll always feel like some sort of disconnection, which I never had a problem with. But I know like some friends of mine were living in there for like 10 years, and they're like,
wow.
Man, why? Like I'm here 10 years. Like I'm practically Japanese. I'm like, I mean, nah, it doesn't work like that. But I get you.
But you're a white foreigner.
Yeah, but you're white. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
How long were you out there for?
Like in one go was like a little over a year or so. But before I kept going like almost every year for like 3 months, because you have like a 3 months limit visa, and you can do like 3 months, you peace out, and then you come back for another three months in 1 year. You can do that legally. So I kind of was doing that. So technically like 6 months every year or so for a little bit.
And were you living like were you living in a city? I
lived in multiple places in there. I lived in I can tell you the names, but you're gonna be like, yeah, I don't know what that place is. But I lived in multiple cities. I was in Tokyo.
I know that one. I know that place.
not the city, but I was in the prefecture. Okay.
I know there's a lot of I remember Dado visited last year, and he called me because he was headed to like the Pokemon center there, and he's like, I'll pick you up some stuff. And so he was like FaceTiming me to like bring me around the shop. It was super dope. But he was like trying to find his way around or something. He's like, God, I'm hungry. And it's like, it says it's 1 block away, but then he's like, I don't know what prefecture I'm in. It's in a different one. It's not like a straight line. He's like, I don't know how to get there. And I'm like, no idea either. Because apparently, like it's not just Tokyo. Like if we were downtown Denver, Rob, it wouldn't just be just go to that corner of Denver. Yeah, it would be like you're in this different part of Denver that's called this, and then you need to, and then there's like 20 different. It's
no, thank you. North, east, south, and west, and that's about it. Like,
in Japan, directions aren't like 2 blocks away. I mean, you can say that, and it's fine, but there's also like you don't follow names of streets ever. You will get lost. I got lost so many times trying to find. Man, there was this one time. So I wish it was just one time. It happened many times, but specifically, I have a memory of going out. I was looking for a store, and all I had to do is go down the street and turn left. And I was like, I already knew where. By the way, I knew where the store was. I've been there, but I was like, you know what? I feel like walking. Let's not turn to the left, like where I usually go. Let's keep walking and then turn to the left, because I probably can take another left and then another left and then a right, like a block, and I'll be there, or I'll find like the turn to the store. 2 hours later, I'm lost. This was a 5-minute walk. This was a 5-minute walk from my house.
And you lost it. I couldn't imagine. Like, if I could get lost in a place like that, I would be terrified. Did you speak the language? Like, did you eventually learn, or
just
broken? Like,
listen, they're very. Even if you don't say the words, they're very gestural. So I could speak broken Japanese, but like what I was trying to say with my body and whatnot, and like
what kind of context clues?
The context clues, I was always fine. But in the very, very beginning, I only knew like, where's the toilet? where like in direction based
Mhm.
stuff, so I wouldn't get that lost. But the problem is that where I was living, there was barely anyone like outside, because it was outside of like of a main city, like on the outskirts.
Kind of like a
And it
What was
suburb
your
almost.
yeah, like a suburb. Yeah.
what was your commute to work like? Did you walk to work? Did you take like the train or?
Use trains for everything, unless you drive. But if you're smart, you don't want to drive. You only drive if you have to.
Mhm.
Basically, you use trains for everything because it literally goes. You don't need a car. It goes everywhere. It goes to every little corner you can think of. There's a train station for that. So I was commuting. First time I was commuting to my work, because while I was working, I moved again. But the first time I was commuting, it was a 25 or so minute commute. It wasn't really bad,
Mhm.
consider all things considered. Then when I moved again to a place called Toyosu, which is very interesting. It's a man-made island that's actually like it's floating, and it's made of garbage. Like they use I say garbage, but you guys can read about it more specifically. They use basically like recycled materials to make the island float. It is super cool.
I've heard of that. Like I've heard of not that specific island, but other like man-made islands that do that or have that same sort of technology.
Yeah, it was insane. Really, really, really pretty area. And that I was commuting to work 40 minutes. But honestly, I don't know what it is. Trains I'll just say trains in general. I don't know if it's just Japan specific, but you fall asleep. You can fall asleep because no one is talking. You can have hundreds of people inside. No one is talking, or you hear someone like faintly speaking, like speaking like this, like they're very, very considerate. It's kind of creepy or eerie at first, but you get used to it pretty quickly.
I will tell you this. The people who live in New York City and use those trains, I'm sure they are able to
Exact
fall asleep, but
opposite.
let me tell you, there'll be a homeless man pooping in the corner over there while you got a 5-man barbershop quartet over there trying to get your money for doing an ensemble. There's all kind of rat eating a piece of pizza. It's definitely not like Japan at all.
A rat
That's
with
my
his
only
own pizzeria, like it's
Yeah,
New York
like-
is tight.
Hey, you
They're-
want a
they're
slice?
totally the opposite.
Hey, I'm just trying to make a living. Come
I
on.
paid for that. Like,
Hey.
So John, I know you just from like your art from D&D and like what you've made for me and my D&D. Has art always been something that like stuck with you your whole life, or was it just one day you drew a stick figure? Or they're like, let's draw a stick figure, class, and then yours was just like
That's
the
a
Mona
good
Lisa
stick figure.
Yeah, they were just like
I was absolutely born with what it is so called talent.
Mhm.
I didn't have to practice at all. I was just, I was meant to be, a god artist.
Mhm.
Just kidding. I always liked art. As in like I would look at comics, whether it's like American or Japanese, it didn't matter. I just loved. I think the first comic I ever owned was Donald Duck comic. I loved the
Oh,
Donald Duck,
cool.
and I had a bunch of those. And then it slowly, I slowly started reading manga because of Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was like crack for
Dang.
me, and I'm like, oh my god, what is this? And I was watching anime before Dragon Ball. Funny enough, people say that Dragon Ball is like, it's not really anime. Like, you know what I mean? Like people,
Mhm.
everyone watches it. They don't really consider it as anime. Funny enough, for me, it was the opposite. I had watched anime before, and I never really considered that to be anime until
Mhm.
Dragon Ball. Like super powering and
Yeah.
Kamehamehas and whatnot. I'm like, oh my god, what is this? And because of that,
It's incredible.
I made my parents buy a couple of volumes of manga, from like DBZ.
How old are you
actually,
at like this like point?
I'm 30. Oh, at this point,
Yeah.
I must have been 9.
Okay.
Around 9 years
Reading
old.
Dragon Ball mangas at 9. Tight.
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah. I was very, very like young into it. And I was like, this is amazing. I'm like, wait, people can draw this? Actually, that's a funny thought. There was times that I thought that I couldn't compute that a person drew this. It must have been like a robot or something.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I was like, do people draw like this? Like they must have used like, I don't know, something
still
like
feel
a
that way.
machine or something.
I feel that way. You are the robot in my world.
True. Who knows? You know, I'm just a picture right now on the screen.
Yeah, we can't really know for sure.
True. And that the reason why I bring it up is because Dragon Ball was what got me to draw for myself. I was like, holy shit, I want to draw like this guy, like Akira Toriyama. So for most of my young years, I was copying Dragon Ball pages. I would literally draw all of the panels, like I would copy them, right? So I would have like a stack of paper that's like the copy of a manga, like volume, like next to to it. It got
Were
so
you
good,
were you
yeah.
tracing or just like eyeballing?
Eyeballing. I didn't
That's
know you could
crazy.
trace. Later on,
Hadn't even occurred to me.
yeah, no, true. Later on, when I was like 12 or so, in art class, teacher brings like this weird looking paper that's like translucent or whatever, and they're like, oh, just put it on the, today we're going to trace. Funny enough, like artists nowadays, they were like, what, you're tracing like in school? It's usually a big no. But anyways, like put this on the window on like this translucent paper and this other like whatever like she would give us, and trace over. I'm like, oh, what? I did trace a lot.
And then that opened up the floodgate. You're like, oh,
wait a second.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, I don't have to eyeball. It's so difficult. I can just draw over. But it was very like hobby, like, you know, I wasn't like many friends that I know, like they were drawing constantly all the time. I was way more into gaming for the most part. I was non-stop playing games. And then when I was kind of like bored or tired, my time off would be like draw a little bit here and there. One thing I loved doing was to go outside, which is very different than now.
Wait, you did what?
You did what? You
not
know,
not in our childhoods. No outside.
Yeah. Oh, you know how some like kids think that back in the days, because the TVs were like black and white, they thought that the world is in black and white.
Yeah,
it was. I don't know.
Sure, I was.
Yeah. Nowadays, kids are like, what? Outside? Wait, people do that?
Wait, like these videos, like they're real, not just like CGI. Like people, that's out there. No.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. Oh yeah, but I love going outside and look at something and draw. I don't know why I enjoy doing that. But once again, it was very sparse. I don't know if even that's the right way to explain it. It's just I would do it from time to time. It wasn't every day. It wasn't anything. And then I fell in love with music. That now we're doing this podcast as John, you know, like John Silva, the artist, drawer, whatever.
Art guy.
Art guy. I'm not saying that music isn't art. It is art, but I would consider still that music was my passion. As far as like passion goes, I love doing what I do. I'm thankful for all the opportunities that I've had. But if I had to pick between like an intense like fiery passion to something, then it would have been music. It isn't these days. Like I don't really, I still love it, but I don't really care as much for it. I did music for a while, and I had like a band and whatnot, and we're doing pretty well actually. And when I was about to have an album release, we had like everything prepared, blah blah blah, all the songs recorded and whatnot. And we're getting like the album prepared. Then my parents were like, "Oh no, we're going to Ireland." So we're skipping ahead like a few years. I was 16. It's like, we're going to Ireland. I'm like, no, I have all these things here, my friends.
Now it
like
makes
I'm
more
doing
sense.
music, you know. Like I didn't want it to go at all because I'm leaving all behind. Like I'm so close to having this thing, and they're like, nope, sorry, you know, this is our livelihood is more important. But I was a kid, so I didn't understand that as much as I do now. And then in Ireland, I did try to make music, but no one was serious about it, or at least I never found anyone who was serious about it. So it slowly died down. I still loved making music. I just couldn't do anything with it. So I started drawing. And when I kept drawing more and more and more, I was still copying a lot. I wasn't like drawing from imagination. I was just used to, oh, I look at this thing. I was really good at copying because I did it a lot. And at some point when I moved, I was like, okay, I need to decide what to do with my life. You know, do I go and work for McDonald's, or do I spend like a year working really, really hard and like try to become an artist? And the reason that the way I found out how to become an artist was because of DeviantArt. Actually, I found a website called DeviantArt.
I had an account.
Hell yeah. And I read a couple of posts where people were saying, oh, like this guy commissioned me to draw blah blah. I'm like, people get paid? What? You get paid to draw monsters and like hot girls and guys and all things in between?
Nice.
Wait a second. Yeah, that was precisely my thought. I'm like, let me contact as many artists as I can. I must have messaged about like anywhere between 30 to 40 people. I got only 3 replies out of all those.
Gotta shoot your shot.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, there was a guy in specific. He's like, oh, if you're just beginning, he pointed me towards another website, which was called conceptart.org, which I think it's dead now. I found out about it like actually recently while I was streaming. As this forum, people were using forums back in the days, like heavily. I was like, oh, this is sick. Like, there's hundreds and thousands of people actually like drawing, and you could see everything because it was digital sketchbooks just there for you to see how they all like improved. And particularly, there was a group called Crimson Daggers that was created by Dave Raposa. Now, Dave Raposa, if anyone like does art or whatever, you might have heard of him. He is a very accomplished artist. He made like the things that he's probably like mostly known for right now is probably like the Marvel covers that he did, but also he made his own comic with Daniel Warren called Steve Lichman, which I love. I love their comic books. And they made like 2 volumes for it. But anyways, he was an up and coming like star artist. I say star because like in the grand scheme of things, he wasn't, but like within the community, he was huge, right? Everyone like knew him. He was like up and coming, and he just, when I met him, he just started working for Magic, and that's how I was like, what? The Magic? That was the day. Wait, the Magic art is made by people? I used to collect Magic cards mainly for the art. I played and whatnot, but like, wait, that is insane. Some of these paintings look like pictures. Like, it's crazy. And he was one of those guys. And because he was lonely and he was living the middle of nowhere, the reason why I'm saying his story, it's because he influenced me a lot to become an artist. So it's important that I highlight his presence.
Well, yeah.
He made he started streaming. He was the first artist to like stream on livestream.com. And I don't think Justin TV even existed at that time.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I was like, this is insane. The guy is painting like live, like digitally, obviously.
Mhm.
He didn't have a camera or whatnot. There was no subs. There was no
Literally just
pop-up.
music and drawing, I'm guessing.
Yeah, sometimes not even music. It's just like him there talking and like drawing and hanging out. So I grew up with streaming as an artist because of him. And later on, like he inspired me to do my like own thing. And I was also streaming on livestream.com. If you had 20 viewers, you were big, or if you had 100, you're like top page. You know what I mean? Like it was crazy. But I grew up streaming and like getting better at art, so I sucked like really badly. And then later on, Dave Raposa was the closest person that I could call a mentor. He wasn't like officially a mentor or whatnot, but he helped me a lot, as he did many people. But anytime I would message him whatsoever, he'll like help me out a lot. And I went ham. I was like, I'm the type of person that if I see another human being accomplishing something, I think I can do the same. That's probably egotistical of me. You know what I mean? But
I don't think so. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting inspiration from other people. I mean, I see Christian doing well and all that kind of stuff. And if anything, that makes me want to like push and strive even more because I know somebody who's doing it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So I was like, he can do it. The other guy can do it. I can do it too. Let's go. Little did I know it's not so simple, but I was like, and I'm also a all or nothing type of person. So I went ham for a year. I was drawing. Now, anyone who's an artist, aspiring artist whatsoever, what I'm about to say, I don't recommend to anyone. Quick PSA, it is unhealthy what I'm about to say. I don't recommend it. Be smart about how much you paint. But I was painting every day, minimum 15 hours up to 20 hours.
Jeez.
I'm surprised your hand is still attached.
I'm surprised too. I did that for like a year to two, but on this like towards the end of my second year, I got good enough where I was already like getting work, so I could slowly like have some income and like I could be independent and whatnot. So I went from 15 to 20 hours to 10 hours, which for me was like, oh, I have so much time now.
Wow, a life.
Then, yeah, it was literally that I would wake up, draw, and But anyways, growing up, my first, you guys will like this story, I think. The first thing I was ever paid for was hentai, actually.
I was gonna ask what the first like piece of art and like what you commissioned was.
If I've learned anything from following Dork, it is that there is a very big audience for hentai. It makes sense.
Well, can I ask you how much like the commission was, or like what it was of, or can you
go into express detail?
There's some of them you don't want. I'll hit around the bush for the weirder ones.
Because I'm assuming you like are like, oh, I'm gonna be drawing these cool monsters. I'm gonna be doing like these mystical beasts with cool
I want a big
head.
titty goth girl.
What? You want
what? Sorry.
Yeah. It was almost like that. It wasn't a goth girl, but it started very like simple. It was this one guy in particular that reached out to me. I had no hentai, not even like lewd images. I'm like just drawing like dudes in armor and monsters. But anyways, the
Yeah.
guy came to me and he's like, "Oh, can you just draw like, like just a naked anime girl, specifically anime? $20." I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting paid finally." You know that meme was like, "Wait, you guys are getting paid?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hell yeah." I just drew like big titted anime girl. And he's like, he came like right after I sent him, he paid me. He's like, "Okay, now can you draw like 2 when they're like hooking up with each other?" And then he increased the price. For
Yeah.
that one, you know?
I mean, yeah.
And it was
sure,
like,
guy.
and it was $50. I thought I was rich. It's like my first money.
$25
Yeah.
a chick. Let's go.
I'm like, "Oh my god, $50. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'll do this whole day. I don't care." Plus, I was fast. It's just,
Were you allowed to stream that? Like streaming, making?
Oh,
No, you're not.
I was allowed to stream it, but I did not stream it
Oh, okay.
because livestream.com didn't give a shit at that time.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I was literally doing studies of a study is when like you have a picture or something set up on your table, and then you draw it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
So when you said you started getting like paid from it, was it just from commissions, or were you started working for certain companies or anything like that, or was it just commission based at that point and just anime titties?
So the very first was just anime titties, nothing else, until it got really weird. So I will tell you one of the weirder ones. I'll tell you the safe for work weird one, and then I'll hit around the bush when I said no. There was
Okay.
a point I said no.
There was a
wow,
line.
the artist was just like, "I will not like do this."
I gotta draw the line
So-
somewhere.
Exactly. So there was the guy was ahead of its time. He wanted a furry anime girl, which was half kangaroo,
Little did he
half
know.
anime girl. Yeah.
Okay, I can
And
do
at
that.
that time,
Oh,
at that time, you weren't really seeing that much furry like art because it was extremely niche. And this guy was like, "I want both in one."
wow.
Yeah, it was really fucking weird.
Porque no los
But I
dos.
said yes.
Yeah, for sure.
because- Yeah.
Why
And
not?
then
I
the
can
one
draw that.
after, I think the furry anime, he's like, "This guy will draw anything." So because of that, I'll try to describe without going into. There was pregnancy involved, and there was
I'm out. I'm already out. Like,
yeah.
no,
Yeah,
you
it
keep
was-
going. No, I mean, like, keep going.
No,
but,
there's like shackles, and there's like getting hurt. It was
no way.
Jesus.
It was weird. It was weird. And then I
lot
found
going
out
on.
that the guy had a website that he kept all of the commissions. I wasn't the only one. There was like
Mhm.
literally hundreds of pictures from other people that he commissioned from. He wasn't selling any of this. It was his private gallery that he kept all for himself, of just all these weird ass commissions. Some like way weirder than what he like had asked me. Funny story. Years later, like I'm already established artist. I'll go back to what was the next actual official thing that I made, but just to connect to finish the story. Years later, I'm talking to 2 of my friends, and I'm telling them, I'm telling the story that I told you. Oh, there's this guy. He commissioned me to draw a half kangaroo girl, half anime. Like what? And I'm laughing, and they're like, "Wait, what? Wait, I had a guy commission me a half kangaroo, a half specifically the half kangaroo, half anime girl."
Because that's not just something everybody gets. Like that's not just a common
Dude, the 3 of us were like, "What?" We all got commissioned by the same guy. It was so funny. Like we all did the same work for exactly the same guy, and that's the TLDR hentai story for me.
Real quick, Christian, Christian and Blue,
You're
they're
connecting me to
artistic.
hentai. That was a weird one.
No, I'm
Speaking of
saying
hentai,
Christian and Blue are artists as well. I think they would say they're not very good at it. See, exactly.
Well,
they
I'm
are
also,
great artists.
There's a difference to me between traditional art and graphic design. Pardon your regularly programmed podcast listening for this short ad break.
Whether you're working from home or working on your fitness, you want to listen to what you're listening to. Not what your roommates, not what your neighbors, or not what your girlfriend's listening to. You want to listen to what you're listening to. Everybody needs to get a great pair of wireless earbuds. But before you go dropping hundreds of dollars on a pair, check out wireless earbuds from Raycon. You already know Raycon earbuds start at about half the price of any other premium wireless earbuds on the market, and that they sound just as amazing as any other top audio brands that you may know of. Their newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, are their best ones yet, with 6 hours of playtime, a seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and more compact design that gives you a nice noise-isolating fit. Like I said, Raycon always helps me with my workouts. I normally always had a wireless pair of earbuds, but they always just seem to fall out. The company was co-founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Snoop Dogg, Brandy, and J.R. Smith are obsessed with Raycons. Now's the time to get the latest and greatest from Raycon. Get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/GG. That's buyraycon.com/GG for 15% off wireless Raycon earbuds. buyraycon.com/GG.
Yeah, I'm a graphic designer. I'm not an artist.
I see.
Like when I
think
put
there's,
pencil
like,
to paper, I can make something. But
Yeah,
when I say it's good,
okay.
no.
It's
I
like
can't do
it's
graphic.
passable. Yeah, it's two different skill sets for sure. Like I could not do what John does. Not even close. In general, just God, what's the word? What's the term? I'm
A
trying to
vector.
get at here. The
Describe it.
like the dude, I'm super blanking right now. The fundamentals of art.
Primary colors.
Red, green.
Sure. I don't know, this the very specific skill set you need and to really work on, and just the fundamentals of how you design art is just. See, I'm saying design. I love design. It's like great, but
It
like
makes
it's the
sense.
same way an interior designer is not the same as like the person who designs the actual home. You know what I mean? Like it's
Or
just
the
two
actual
different things.
furniture and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, I could not. I cannot do graphic for the life of me. I tried, because I was just trying to get any money I could for anything that had anything to do with somewhat like art and whatnot. I couldn't do it. I drew the line there.
I was have you done any horror story commissions, Blue or Christian? I don't know if you've ever done commissions, Christian, or
Yeah, I did just for fun a little bit. And the one was just like, that's when I realized I don't want to do this. It was completely pro bono, for free. And this guy had
Here's your first mistake.
20, like back and forth, like 20 revisions on this super basic thing I had, completely free. Just did it out of like, the kindness of my heart. Like, here, I'll help you out. And this dude was the audacity in this man. And he was like a Karen when it came to graphic design. And I was like, if this is what it's like right now, I was like, I can't. Dealing with people like that, no, that's not me.
It never changes.
Yeah, and that's what I figured. I was like, this is probably just the tip of the iceberg, because that would be like people in class too. The worst one was, I don't know if you ever experienced this, John, was if people heard you could like draw or something, like, ooh, draw me. Or like,
draw
this,
me.
or, do this for me. And it's just like, oh my God. And then you do something like that. I'm like, well, actually, could you fix? It's like, really? What? And that's when I realized that there's no way I could work for other people doing that kind of stuff.
Speaking of pet peeves, right? By the way, the most infuriating thing for me is when people confuse your jobs. So like when I'm like, oh, I'm a graphic designer, and they're like, oh, wow, could you draw me? Or like vice versa. If you're an artist and they're like, hey, can you like look at this webpage I'm designing? And it's like, no, I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't do that. Sorry. Have a good day.
That's not how that works.
I can't do any of that.
Absolutely. No, I definitely had those mostly in high school. Afterwards I didn't, because I secluded myself. It was just me and drawing and nothing else. But once I came out of the woodwork, it was I definitely had people trying to scam me. Two of them did. One of them
Sucked.
was like a guy that we all worked in a project together, and he sold it to Microsoft, kept the money, and
What? That's
yeah,
crazy.
he disappeared.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Um,
So
yeah,
go ahead. No, so you make anime titties for your first art, and
I like how
then
casually we just keep saying anime titties.
so we
And then I
get from
drew some
that
anime
point,
titties, you know? It's just
and then when did you realize? When did it take that next step? Do you think, or like when
Okay,
did
so
you?
right after when I said no to the guy,
Mm-hmm.
the day after, I put a portfolio together. I was like, it's time. I need to get different kind of work. So I drew just for myself, whatever. I was looking at a lot of Magic the Gathering art. So I'm like, I want to work for these guys. So I'm going to do that kind of work or paintings as well. So I did. I put a couple of images together, and then I literally just spammed every card company I could Google. Was literally everything. I've never. So I consider myself. Here's the pity party part of my thing. It's the only thing about me that I actually pity. I consider myself unlucky, and in fact, literally every single of my friends, like they would make jokes because like I would work literally on the same projects that some of my friends. Everything would go fine for them, but for me, there's always something that goes wrong. That it's like it's not my fault. It's like something happened in the company, or like fucking I don't know, like a guy
So some
disappeared.
circumstances.
Just circumstances. And I'm just like there, like with my pants down. I'm like, okay. But anyways, I've never had it. I've never had a besides 3 times. I've never had a job handed to me. You know how people say like, "Oh, you get jobs based on who you know," which is true. I agree with that. I just rarely experienced it. Like, I thought it was for the longest time. I thought it wasn't true until like those like 3, maybe like 4 times out of like the hundreds of companies I work with, and so I became very good at Googling like emails and like obscure things. I spent a lot of time finding these contacts, and like every tabletop you can think of in your head, I probably emailed them, you know, especially if they had card art, because that's what I wanted to get into and like specialize in. And then there's this company that emailed me back. They I don't know if they're still around, but they were called Alderac Entertainment Games, and they made, I think they were the people that made Legend of the Five Rings, which was like immensely popular, and Shadowrun. I believe they were the ones who made
Ooh.
Shadowrun as well. I have a feeling that they sold it out, and now someone else is like in charge of that. But back in the day, they were the ones, and they had like that and some other games. So I did work for them. I did cards for them, card art. That's when I started getting paid like it was $120 for those cards. And for me that was like a fortune at the time. I'm like, oh my god, I can like make a living out. This is real. I can make a living off of this, and I don't have to draw animate titties, which there's nothing wrong with it. Just, like I do
Change
it.
your pace.
What? Sorry?
Just wanted to change your pace. Didn't want to draw titties all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
you can only see so many anime titties, you know?
Exactly. So that was my very first published work, where it's like printed and it's out there. There's my name, blah blah blah, and then it quickly snowballed into more. So there was all these other RPG, like Pathfinder contacted me. I never did anything for them because their rates suck. Pathfinder, if for some reason you're listening, or
All my homies hate Pathfinder.
Yeah, we hate them, don't we, homies?
raise your prices, please. It's even in 2020, it's really bad.
The pandemic, come on.
Called out. Come on, no. That ain't cool, man.
And
Pay your artists.
I mean, overall tabletops are like on the cheaper side when it comes to like budgets. But my goal was still Magic the Gathering. So I kept doing a bunch of work for this and that. The company that paid me the most was a random Japanese company. It was random at the time. And
Maybe
they
you
were
heard of them.
called-
It's like Sony. Or something.
yeah, it's just Sony, Panasonic, or whatever. They were
Tencent?
called. They were called.
Chinese.
I did work for Tencent, but that's Chinese. Yeah.
Oh,
They're called Applebot. Now I think they went bankrupt and whatnot, and they were the studio I was working in when I moved to Japan, because I worked with them for a while, and they paid. Actually they changed Western art rates because they paid so much, anywhere between 1,000 at the time, 1,000, 200, 500 to like 2,500 per illustration. And I said these days it's kind of like standard-ish, but at the time this was astronomical. So every single, if you're in the art world or in entertainment world, every single professional you heard of were working for them. So I made a huge gap between making $100 to $200. I also did work for Fantasy Flight Games. Like I did like card art for Talisman and like.
Oh, I love Talisman. That's my favorite board game. I love
Yeah.
Talisman.
His art's in there apparently.
I'm
Look at that.
Yeah, and a bunch of other stuff. And then I went from that to like getting 1,000 plus. And I'm like, wow, that like my mind was blown, and everyone that was working for them was blown.
And
So
what did they make? Or
they were how can I describe it? It's kind of like gacha-ish game, which now makes.
which
it
is
makes
why
all
they were
sense.
paying you so well. Yes, that makes
So
sense.
it was like the kind of art there. You have the card, you pay for the cards and whatnot, and they move. They're like animated and whatnot. So
I was gonna say they
that's
all those games always do have some pretty good illustrations, which
they do.
yes, now we know.
They were pretty high end. I hated working for them. They paid very well, and that's the only thing that kept most of us in there. They had the most terrible taste that I could think of, but the skill of the art itself was pretty high. But if you were to strip that away, you're like, what am I looking at? Like this, nothing makes sense. But anyways, it's like polishing a turd. It's what we call. And and after that was when I got into, like, I just kept climbing up. I worked with Magic the Gathering. Funny enough, I sent maybe like 12 emails throughout the years. In 12 emails in total throughout the years, trying to work for Magic. They always replied with like an automated like email like bot or whatever. It's like, we got your
Yeah,
we got your
thanks.
portfolio. Thanks. We will contact you if you're like fit or whatever. Now, it's just a formal way of saying no mega lol. Like, no. And I was like, the day that I said, you know what? Like my art was up there. I at the time, the last email that I sent to them, John, which was like the main art director for like Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, he's like super known. He left the company because he's like, I want to do my own thing, right? I contacted him. I'm like, yo, please tell me that I suck and I'm just not like, I just cannot get into it. He looks at my art. He's like, I don't know why you're not hired. I don't know why they're not like messaging you, like you should be in. So I'm like, what? Okay, I'm gonna contact my friend that's working at like for Magic. They're like, yeah, you should be in. Next person, yeah, you should be in. Everyone is telling me I should be in. I sent 12 like emails. What is going on? So the day I was like, you know what? I was really bitter about it and like envious. It's like, fuck this. I'm not working for Magic. Like even
They
even
don't
if they
deserve
email
you.
me, they don't deserve me.
Nah.
Exactly. A week later, I get in contact and it's like, yo, when I work for Magic. I was like, yep.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
yeah, great.
Yes. Yes, I do.
I cooled off. Okay. I thought it over. And when I read your message, I was like, you know what? Maybe you guys are okay. So, yes, you may have me in your team. Yes. So and this is the sad part. Remember what I said about me being unlucky? I made about like 3-4 cards for them at the time, and all of them got printed, and only one of them got released. The reason why the other ones didn't is because there was a fuck up in Hasbro that I still can't say what it was, but something fucked up, and they print they printed it and whatnot. It's just they're like gathering dust, or maybe they even threw it away. I don't know what they did with the cards, but it's not in the sets. And I did like a promo art for them. I think that did go through, and that was my like I was so mad at that because like some of my favorites like art never got, like I can show you now even because I
That's so
NDAs.
triggering. Yeah.
Right.
Do you know what the card was in Magic like do you remember what it was called that actually got released and made it to the set and everything?
It's the one that did get released was called Bridge Prowler. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't like the art I made for it because it was my very, very first one. And I was like kind of nervous and whatnot. People like it, but I look at it through my eyes and I'm like, oh my
Did
god,
it see
this is
play?
wrong.
Was
That's
it?
sick looking.
Oh no, yeah, no. People like it.
Good.
The card itself.
Yeah,
right?
your name and everything is Pog.
What is it? What is it again?
Here, I'll
Bridge
link it.
Prowler, I think.
Okay.
And I did like a promo art for Kaladesh set. I believe that card is in that set too.
I put it in the Discord.
Oh, tight.
I think
And
it's pretty
after
sick.
that, I was
What
like,
the fuck?
I'm done. I'm gonna chase other ambitions, other studios or whatever. So I ended up working for a couple of studios. I worked with Blizzard. I think I can say this. I did like Diablo Immortal stuff. If you guys have any phones, smile.
Well, it still hasn't even come out yet, though, hasn't it?
No.
Yeah, what's going on there? Is that just in limbo, or they're waiting until the dust settles, or
I don't even know how much.
Nobody has phones.
True.
Nobody has any phones. The phone market crashed.
I can tell you that the art is pretty.
What was it like? Splash art, character art,
the design, a little bit of everything, like the character art, design, environments, and whatnot. And I think I worked with pretty much. Oh, I actually did like some small stuff for Destiny. I know you guys play that Destiny 2.
Pog.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Anything you can go into specifically or no?
I think the thing that I worked on got delayed, and I worked on it 2 years ago or 3.
Oh, makes sense. Like if
was it like concept art or was it?
It was. I can tell you it's armor. I think.
Oh, if it ever comes out, you have to let us know.
Okay.
I will grind for that piece of armor.
Yeah.
I promise you that. I promise you that.
I'll move heaven and earth to get that.
I'll make it my transmog, no matter what. Right, Blue? Isn't that a thing? Right?
Hell
Can
yeah.
we transmog stuff?
Will
soon?
be this fall
Oh, okay.
with Beyond Light.
Yeah. And yeah, I pretty much work with the only company. Okay, so I got contacted to work on Legends of Runeterra, which is a card art game.
Oh, I love that game.
Right.
I was playing that earlier today.
I couldn't take it because I was busy with Diablo. It's something I regret. I wish I would have said yes, actually. But maybe one day.
That would have been sick. I mean, the art in that game is... I love it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's like the studio that did most of the cards is called
Six More Vodka.
Yeah.
I looked into it
and
because I was like, dude, this is sick. And the best
love
part
it.
about that card game, and when I play others, I try and do it now, and I'm upset I can't, is you can right-click the cards, and it'll give you the art full screen,
Oh,
and you can like click
dude.
away so you can just see the art in all its glory. It's
Yes.
like
oh,
I'm
like
playing,
a show handout kind of thing.
yeah, like it'll full
That's cool.
screen the original art and
No text, no nothing.
nothing.
It's just
And so
all you
then I
see
go
is
to other
art.
card games, and I'm like, why can't I? Like, I want to see it.
That's what I love about like Hearthstone's like gold cards that like they like kind of like move and stuff like that. I do wish you could like see like a big kind of handout of it.
But yeah, I was like,
Don't know why
that's
they don't do it, but they
banger.
should. Yeah.
Is there
Um,
any company, John, that you wish that you really really want to work for that like is like no,
I
just
reached-
kind of
I-
whatever comes now?
Yeah. So right now I'm on the path of being independent artist. I'm kind of done with companies unless it's something that's like really interesting. I think the only company I want to, it's more of a, I want to cross it off the list so I can say I work for them, which is Riot. I do love their art team. I love the aesthetics, their skill, the current skill more than the older stuff. Like I relate to a lot of it, so I would actually really really like to work with them, but it's not like I must.
Yeah, like
You know what I mean?
yeah, you'd move
These
heaven and earth to get that or something.
exactly. These days it's like I got like so burned out of companies because of what I would consider myself unlucky, and some of the things I can tell you, like random shit that happened to me working for company. We're talking about AAA companies, that the mistakes that I'm about to say should never happen, but they do, which is like, this is the classic one, happens with most of them. I invoice them or they invoice me or whatever, either way. I'm waiting for a payment. I waited a month, which I shouldn't to begin with, but anyways, I was naive and maybe something happened. But I waited a month. I messaged them. It takes them 2 weeks to answer to me back, and then they're like, oh, sorry, we talked with our finance team. It's always the finance team. We talked with the finance team, and I think they lost your invoice. Or something
Seems like
along
a
those
scapegoat
lines.
or something. Yeah.
I was like, something along those lines. I'm like, oh my god, okay, sure. Well, can you like pay me? Like my next reply, my next email is like, okay, can you pay me? Here's the invoice again. Don't lose it. Yeah, but now you have to wait 2 months. So there was a time I was half a year, AAA companies, I can't say the name, but there was a time I waited half a year to get paid because of like shenanigans like that. Or like, for example, someone left the team that was in charge of that, and then he just indefinitely stayed like stuck. I guess it's the best way I could describe it, until someone else came over to the company and like continued the process and whatnot. There was a bunch of that. So I was like, I don't want to work with companies. Like the IPs are cool, the art that I make can be cool. By the way, I'm sorry if this sounds like depressing or bitter or anything, because it slightly is. Anyone aspiring artists, my experiences are my own. I have plenty of friends that everything went like perfect. They never had an issue whatsoever. So please don't be scared. If you're listening, doesn't mean that you're gonna go through the same.
Well, it's,
I'm always scared of like, yeah.
I think it's also important though that you highlight that stuff, because for some people, it would be worse if they put it all on this pedestal, and the moment something like that happens, it like crushes their dreams, and then they give up or something. It's better for people to know it's not always sunshine, rainbows, and ponies, no matter what you do or what passion you have. At the end of the day, it's a job, and every job has pros and cons.
I think like the most frustrating that if I was an artist like you, the most frustrating thing like for me, if I worked for the company, is like how you made 4 magic cards, but only like 1 actually like makes it to print. And it's like, well, I thought I did way better on the other card than I did on the actual card that made it to print. And then it's like, well, what are you going to do with that art now? It's like, oh, well, now it's like technically ours and it'll
Yeah.
just kind of sit here and just kind of never do anything. And you can't ever say anything about it. Or it's just like, okay. Like, and then it's just like, I would feel like I've like my time was wasted, but even though I got paid for it or something, I don't know. It would just be like a weird kind of balance. Do you feel that? Do you have that struggle with when you work with companies?
Yeah, I mean, I got a pretty bad surprise when I started getting into mostly it's the AAA companies because things take like years to come out. So a lot of it is like I did so much work, like thousands of images that I never posted that have come out, but it's so like old and dated that I don't want to show it to anyone.
That's not mine. No, that's
So I didn't do that. So,
Yeah.
exactly. So like the magic situation is like very specific, and thankfully it never happens with other projects, but it has happened things like, oh, I work on this thing, but my name isn't there. Hello? Like, why are you not crediting me? Like, what's up with that? And they're like, it's ours. It's under our name. You know what I mean? So one
Mhm.
thing that like maybe I don't know if it's because of the teenage angst in me that still resides, but I'm just like, I'm out of this. Like artists deserve credit no matter like you see like marketing art, like let's say League of Legends, a skin comes out, right? There's the splash art. You know, when you select a champion, you see the art, right? Why isn't like the artist name in the corner? Like, is he really gonna like
It's just something super simple or, like.
give power to the artist? Those skins, not just League, but like most games, like that have imagery, like there should be a way for people to like tell like, oh, this was made by this was made by that, whatever, like give artists power because it's thanks to these creative people that they're giving you money. You know what I mean?
I've gotten to do some work with. I mean, you might know him if you've been in the league. Iron Stylus. I don't know if you ever knew him.
It sounds very familiar.
He was lead. I think just lead art director and character design for a while. Like he designed like Leona and a whole bunch of other
Okay.
champs. But that was one of those cases where it was never credited, but I was so interested, I just looked people up or like looked up like Riot artists and I found him. And then you see all these cool concept arts and stuff you don't get credited because that's the one thing I always praise Riot for the most part. I mean, they've gotten better about it, is design consistency. Because obviously like 10 years ago and for a while they had like ridiculous splashes and like stuff super out of date, but then they've done a better job of having it cohesive. Because I don't know if you've ever played like Paladins or Smite or anything high res.
I work for them. I did work for them.
You might do the good stuff, but I go into the loading screen and there is so much going on. It looks like a confetti threw up. Like you have a 3D model art with like a great 2D illustration with like crayon painting and all these different weird borders, and I'm just like, I don't know what to think. Like I don't know what the cohesive. Like it just triggers me, and then I go over to Riot and I'm like, I'm home.
They're so much better these days. I used to not like their aesthetics back in the days, but nowadays they really like did a,
It all kind of
like,
came with
whatever you call it.
the map update, and then they started going back to old splashes and all the characters and even just character models. We have always appreciated.
Do you think did you have any better experiences with like indie companies or like smaller kind of?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, the smaller the better. My experiences, they treat you better, and this might be like the
treat you like a person.
Yeah, they treat you like a person. Some people might consider this like the sensitive part of being an artist. Like I don't consider myself like that. I have a thick skin, but it feels nice to be appreciated. Like people actually enjoy your art, and you did an amazing job, and you're like praised for it. You don't have to, but like the fact that happens is like really nice, and it's just more intimate, and overall a more pleasant experience that makes you feel that you're a part of something that you're building and you're not a tool, because that's the problem that AAA companies a lot of the times their vibe is like, we're hiring you as a tool, you're not a person. I mean, I'm over exaggerating here, so anyone listening, but a lot of times can feel that way. There's just like, oh, we don't need you, the person, we need the skill inside of that person, and then we just do our little
Yeah.
thing and use you to like create this and that. I may sound like bitchy about it,
No,
but
you're right though. Like they need to treat you as a person rather than you want to be a part of the game, not be part of the game. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And I felt the biggest difference, and this is for anyone who might be listening that is in the gaming industry, going back to private commissions and working with like one person. Like for example, you Rob, you commissioned me, right?
I did.
Um,
I hope I wasn't a horror story. That's the last thing I ever want to be. Is like the dude
No.
who's like too like.
Absolutely
Could
not.
you?
I wouldn't be here
Okay.
talking to you.
Good.
You know,
Thank God. Okay. Guys, I never want to be like, could you just like move the hair on the side? Like, that'd be great.
So I can take the gun away from your head then.
Yeah. But like I got human. I at some point I was like a robot because of like my experiences. Like I was so detached from art. I didn't care about it at all. I'm just like, I'm just doing a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which partially is true. But I feel like no one should ever feel that way. So I started slowly doing like commissions for normal people, like really cheap, because I realized like, oh, people might know me in the industry. You know, oh, John Silva. Yeah, I know who that guy is. But outside of that, it's like no one knows anything about
Mhm.
me, you know? And I started like going cheap because I'm like, even though I have the skill that I have, like my value, like I mean, people, you know, will perceive. Unfortunately, social media will perceive your value based on, which is not always true. I'm so scared of saying anything about this, but
No.
which is not always true. Like, yes, if you have a bigger following, oh, let's call it demand. Demand is a better word. The more demand you have, of course, you can be more picky. Therefore, you increase your prices. Blah 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 blah. Right. So you could have a small value, a small following, but a lot of demand. That wasn't the case for me. So I was like, people need to like I need to be out there in on the eyes of normal like people that are not in the industry. So I started doing commissions. I went, like I did stream on Twitch before, and I was streaming, but it was just a very hobby thing. And once I made the decision, okay, let's do it one more time, going all in, I started streaming full time, and I've been very lucky. Like for the first time in my life, like I feel like all the shit I got like throughout, I finally feel like I have the skill, etc. Blah blah blah. People say good things about me, but I do realize that I am lucky these days. Like 2020 is very bad for many people. 2020 has been great for me. Like like personal like development around my work and what my passions. So Twitch actually became my passion overall, and it's not just art. I realized what I like about it, which is people. I love talking, as you can as you can tell,
Oh
as you can
no, it's
tell,
perfect.
right? I love entertaining. I love. I'm sure you guys can relate to this because I find you guys entertaining and funny. But I love making people laugh, doing like stupid things. Art is just a like something that I have on the screen that I love doing that people appreciate it for. But ultimately is like the combination of my interaction, art, people, and then everything combined becomes something like really meaningful to me. right? So even though I am an art streamer, mostly I do stream games and whatnot, but chances are you're going to catch me draw more than gaming. Hopefully this doesn't age where I don't draw anymore like years later, but I feel like I'll never stop. Like if my Twitch channel keeps growing, which you guys had Arcadum, right? And thanks to Arcadum, now we're in the Arcadum saga for me, right? This right now. I'm involved in that, right? I had the pre, young Silva saga, company Silva saga, and now it's the Twitch for like slash.
This is like Cell
Arcadum
Saga, so it's gonna be good.
Okay. I hope that I'll be Gohan Super Saiyajin 2. I want to be as badass as that.
Hey, finish out the saga strong. I like it.
How did you really get in contact with Arcadum? Like,
it's always Stir.
okay.
It's always Stir. You may have heard that. It always goes back to Stir. He also never gets to play. But no, I was streaming art. I had like 20, 30 viewers or so. And Stir just messaged me. At first, I'm like, that name sounds like so familiar. Little did I know I used to watch him play Overwatch because I was super into Overwatch. Like, it's all I was doing was play Overwatch. Like right after the beta was done, and I'm like, wait, you're that sick Ana player. Like, I was an Ana main, so I'm like, oh my god. So he messaged me. It's like, oh, I draw too. Like he would laugh if you heard me. He does draw. I'm just giving him shit.
Yeah, he draws. Yeah, we get it.
No. He's not bad at all. He's like, I draw too, and it's like, I want to commission you for this project that I'm doing. It's like, oh, hell yeah! Like, yeah, I'm down. So he Stir supported me. I feel like there was like one of the beginnings of me building up luck. That's something I like to think about. It's like you can build up luck in a weird way. And he, like, I hung out with him a lot. And we were playing a game. I can't remember what it was. And he invited Arcadum over. I didn't know who Arcadum was. I was just playing something. I can't remember what it was. We played a couple of times together, like Meester and Arcadum on his stream. And like shortly after, I learned who Arcadum was. Like, he was also a streamer. And he says he does D&D. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting, you know? And then Arcadum messaged me. He's like, oh, I have this segment on my stream that's called Arcadoodles. Basically, Twitch chat makes a character, and as they make the character, they have like multiple choice of how the character looks like. As they pick the choices, you draw that, which I still think it's a really cool idea, and I hope we do it again. So they would like, oh, like, what type of character it is. Like, it ended up being a rat lady.
Naturally.
So bad. Naturally. It was like a rat lady with a like umbrella and whatnot. But it was really fun. I was really, really, really tired though. I wish we did it again when I was like, would be like actually awake. And we kind of like stopped contact a little bit after that. Like, I would lurk on his streams, I would watch on and off, and then again back to Stir. Stir's like, oh, I have this character on Arcadum. I want to commission you for that. Like, and I think Arcadum was like slowly building up at this point. I was like, okay, like, yeah, of course I'll do it. So I drew that, and everyone loved it, which was Gruff. He's like a, I think he's like a paladin that noodles. He's like a noodler and whatnot. He speaks a little bit like this, like speaks under his breath.
Yeah, I've seen him, I think.
Yeah. And that was the Shattered Crowns. I think it was called something else, Galen's Gate or whatever. anyways, so he did that, and everyone like it's like, oh, who made that art? Right? So people started going to my streams slowly because like Arcadum would like show the token cards. He's like, oh, this is like John Silva. He made it, whatever. And then I did it like Stir commissioned me a few more times because he's like character changed and whatnot. And you skip like a while ahead, and I had Arcadum message me and be like, hey, like I got a project, like, do you have time to talk? And this was somewhat recently, right? And he asked, oh, like in my universe there's these gods, do you want to do all the gods? I'm like, how many are they? It's like, I don't know, 30 plus. I'm like, what? You have to do 30 plus characters? Like, what the hell? Like,
I was working on my D&D character before this, and we were like, they're like, okay, pick a god, and then I was like, okay, what are the ones to choose from? He goes, oh, there's like 30 to choose from. I was like, oh, okay. Let me see which one fits my my religion.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
well, yeah,
and
he
right
was saying he had he has like a whole world and everything he's worked on.
Yeah, he has a universe with multiple worlds.
We're Thanos up in here. It's crazy.
Yeah, but right before that, actually, I skipped a little too much ahead. Rob was one of the people, but Sheila was the first, other than like Stir, was the first to contact me out of the group. It's like, she's like, I want you to draw like my character, like Arcadum and Sival, which is Tiffany, like recommended me to you. Like, are you down or are you free to do it? I was like, oh my god, okay. Yeah, of course, I'm stoked. And then literally like hours later, it was like Blast and then Rob, and like everyone in the group commissioned me, which was wild. And did you guys know? Actually, I never asked. Did you guys know that you're commissioning the same artist?
Yeah, so we had just gotten done with a session, and it was basically like we graduated from like the training wheel D&D session to like the real, like, you're getting what Arcadum has in his world, like you've graduated. So it was like, okay, I'm gonna get some cool art done. And so at that point, we like met in a Discord call afterwards, and I was like, oh, I need to get art commissioned for sure. Like, I have to. And that's when Tiffany was like, oh, you should totally go to John, because I believe you had done some sort of piece for her.
I did.
I think the Olm. Yeah, I think Olm. It was like a really quick. She's like, he made this for me super quick, and it's super good, and like, you guys should go to him. And so Sheila must have messaged you like maybe 2 or 3 hours before I did. So and then Bless had all met. So like, we all knew we were going to the same person and everything, and we all thought that was cool that we could all have art that was like kind of all the same kind of style and like fit together. So it's super cool. So yeah, that's how I kind of came in contact with you.
Yeah. Thanks to you guys, I feel like that's when things really started rolling for me as an independent artist, because y'all have following and I'm just like a dude that draws for the rest of the internet, right? Taking like in the industry aside, I'm just some random guy posting pictures, and you bringing eyes to my work, like started with Sheila and then Blast and then you and then like literally the whole group sharing the art. People are like, oh, this guy exists, right?
John, you don't just draw, brother. Like, you draw, bro. Like, it's like a, yeah, like, you just don't draw, man. Like, there's a difference between people who draw and you. Like, it's there's a difference.
Well,
so
I appreciate it for sure, but that's just how I was feeling, right?
Yeah, and it was And that's why I had to have you on the podcast, because like you said earlier, you're not just an artist. When I go to your stream and you do the little things like Moon coming into your room and checking on you and all that kind of little stuff, dude, like you're not just, like you said, you're not just an artist. At the end of the day, you also want to entertain and like make a connection and that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's exactly why you should be on the podcast. So it's awesome to have you here.
No, it's an honor. I'm still baffled that I'm even like talking to you guys, because like I see who else was on the podcast. I scrolled through the list and I'm like, why am I here? You know,
You deserve it.
Well, and then I also know you have a lot of experiences, like you said earlier, in the industry, because we have a lot of content creators who are on Twitch and YouTube and stuff like that. And I think it's important to show the kind of struggles and the kind of things it takes that an artist goes through. Because
Different medium.
yeah, it's a totally different kind of medium that we haven't covered or seen. And to have you on here is totally refreshing. And to see that you still have the same idea that, sure, the games I play, but the art I make isn't the main thing I do, but the connections and the laughs and the things I make along the way, that is truly why I do it.
Yeah. Chat is everything for me. Like, I'll go as far as, you know how people like they stream and they sadly have terrible experiences, even mental breakdowns, like real mental breakdowns. I never experienced that. It was the polar opposite. I was in a really bad place in my life, and I started streaming out of like, I just need something like text on this. I just need anything. And it's been nothing but positive. Maybe I shouldn't say what I'm about to say because I like my little corner, but I think the art section is, you know, just chatting. Now you remove the negativity out of it, you throw it away, and you have the art section. Art section is the way I use it, which I don't think many people do. And I'm saying this not because I'm like, I'm changing things. I'm saying just because I hope whoever, if you're a Twitch streamer and you do art, I'd like to see more where people use the art section as a safe and positive just chatting. Because essentially, because art is a slow-paced thing, right? It changes very slowly. And even if you're fast at painting, there's a lot of downtime. So what do? Whatever you want. You talk, you make people laugh. You, like, I personally like doing like dumb stuff, like you say, like, you know, Moon comes out of my door. It's all like just pictures and whatnot.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Comes out of my door.
Big fan.
Like, like things like that. Just have fun. Like I that's my main goal. Is like, it's not viewership. I know that's like something that almost every streamer that loves what they do say, but and might be cliche, but I genuinely don't care about viewership. I care about chat. And some people that like, I think the reason why big streamers like you guys stop by my stream, and you can confirm this or not, is because I have a cool ass community.
Yeah,
Other
well,
than me.
and you're just a cool ass dude. And let me confirm too, I'm not a big streamer. Let's just confirm that.
You're big to me.
But yeah, you're just a cool ass dude, man, and you just make cool ass art. And like I said earlier, when I watch you stream, it's literally like you start with a stick figure and you're like, okay, that's kind of what his body looks like. And then like I look away. It's like watching a sub anime. Like you look away for 2 seconds and it's like done. It's like
What happened?
like wait, yeah, I just looked away for 3 seconds and now he's already working on Claw's fur. Like it was like it really is like really cool. But then again, like I said, with streaming, art can only like contain somebody for so long. The fact that you do all those other things and you have fun, people do see that, and that brings more people in, and it's just a lot, and it's just fun to see. And it's the first time I've seen like an art stream not be specifically about the art, even though the art is unbelievable. Like something I don't see
Just
normally.
like a flex. Like, yeah, the art's whatever.
Well,
it's already
like,
great.
You're just like, yeah, and like I'm just like streaming, and then like you're making this piece of art like while you're talking, And then when I do that and like I'm just playing a game and talking to chat and I do that with my friends around, they're like, that's so crazy. Like, how do you talk to chat and play the game at the same time? And it's just like, oh, I don't even think about it. But like when I see you draw and like talk to chat and do all these things, it's like, how can he like even juggle all those balls at one time? It's just really impressive.
I will say, and this is the only flex I will allow myself to say on this podcast.
Flex away.
Being an artist and entertaining at the same time while you're reading chat is the Dark Souls of streaming, in my opinion. Because for you, for people that they're looking, you're just drawing. But I'm thinking about like, I'm reading chat, I'm trying to think of something funny to say or some dumbass idea, whatever. But at the same time, I have to think about the anatomy. I have to think about the lighting. I have to like do calculations of like approximation of like where the light hits and whatnot and what color is gonna make, and I don't know, just stuff like that. And I'm not saying that I'm unique to that. I'm saying that all artists that stream like and try to be entertaining, and not, by entertaining I don't mean like be a clown and you're like doing spins and whatnot while painting. I'm talking about literally just like having a conversation while painting. It's impressive. I'm not talking about just myself. I'm talking about like literally the whole art section. I do think that the people that do it well is the Dark Souls of streaming, just because there's so much to think of. Some of it is muscle memory, but a lot of it is like, even though I have the experience that I have, like painting and whatnot, there's still times that I'm like, okay, Chet, I need to focus. And like for 10 minutes, I have to look at the painting and think what I'm doing. Otherwise, it's going to look like trash and like wrong and whatnot. Right. So any art streamers listening, you guys are dope, and don't get demotivated, or, you can do it.
I know a way to motivate them, and it's my subtle flex. Pardon your regularly programmed podcast listening for this short ad break.
Oh, hi there. My name's Elwood, and I'm a gnome. Oh, wow. Look at you. You're a fan of GG Over Easy podcast? Oh, it's my favorite podcast. I always rate it as high as I can. I usually rate it 6.9. Anyway, you might know me from, well, Claw and Dusty's Adventure with Glorious Arcadum. That's the D&D campaign that me, Rob, and Dado do with Arcadum. And I'm here to say thank you for those that contribute to this podcast, the viewers like you, and these amazing producers. Commander, Vaxie, Annabelle the Doc, Grayscale, Grizz, Jake 11 Raptor, Blackbird Logan, CC Coon 91, Crescenzio, Wewishu 51, Green Pete, Grizzly Stag, Hedron Crab, Jacovius Jr., Omega Arts 290, Rex Mechanica, Rodeo, Saith 2252, The Drifter's Mommy, and Zigzag Gaboo. Don't forget all the cool things that you can get when you support GG Over Easy on Patreon.
I found it when you mentioned it. I found my DeviantArt account.
Oh my god!
And there's only 3 posts. Like, I mainly lurked and looked at people's stuff, but there is the only digital painting I've ever done. It's of sea nanners, and then 2 graphic design stuff I just did for Legend of Korra. And I don't mean to brag, it has like 24 comments. I'm like kind of a big deal. I will say, that post, I think I mentioned it a while ago. That's the Tumblr post that got like 6,000. Yeah, it got like 6,000 upvotes, whatever. My friend was so mad to me. I was like, what? I've been grinding Tumblr, dude, or whatever. It's like, nobody upvotes me. Yeah, see,
2012.
Yeah, I mainly did.
Sick.
I mainly did graphic design, though. And then I was like
it.
I'll try digital painting. And
I remember when you made that.
Mm-hmm. I had a Bane one that was better than that, but I never finished it. But that was not an easy process. I'm sure I butchered just about every way you could go about making something like that. It was terrible. I was like, I think Sea Nanners liked it. Or he replied with like a smile at the time. I was like, Yes.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, when they reply.
Yeah, like
know.
that. I was like, that was worth it. Just that.
What
made it.
about you, Blue? Dude, where's your secret art? There's a secret BlueWestlo art page somewhere.
Gotta be a vault.
I'm a very corporate designer, unfortunately, so most of mine are in my back of my old jobs vault. I don't really have secret art, to be honest, because most of it is stuff that is already out there. I just don't really feel like sharing because that was back in the day cafe.
Do you just
I
do
know,
it
I'm
like
looking at this.
do you just design on your own time now, or just nah? Blue.
Pretty rarely at this point.
Yeah, just like meh.
Whenever someone asks for it, and I'm like, tight, here you go.
I mean, it can't be worse than the bio on my DeviantArt. So let me hit you with that. All right.
Oh, what is this?
I guess it's not as bad as it could be, but I make YouTube videos. I like to design, and above all else, I love life. Just the fattest lie of my life. I'm always depressed. Is there anything unique about me? Well, I guess it's how you perceive unique. I'm 13, and this is deep. I'm a nerd at heart and love sappy romantic stuff, which is oddly true, but I don't know why I would say that. I get caught up in things way more than a normal person should, and right now am addicted to Legend of Korra. As you can see, the 2 out of 3 posts was Korra. If you ever want to talk or anything, you can always find me on Twitter, or better yet, YouTube, smiley face, but with a bracket. Not
no.
It's a pog. It's a pog.
It's a pog.
Smiley face.
Before it was a pog.
Yeah.
So it could always be worse. And hopefully that, and I guess for audio listeners, if you're like, what the heck? It's just my account is a bowl of fruit on DeviantArt. I just Googled DeviantArt, a bowl of fruit. And you too can enjoy
these bangers.
Yeah. Woo!
All of a sudden, your follower count from 2 people following your art or something like that is about to explode.
I do have 2 watchers. But I don't even know, is I guess you would know more, John. Is DeviantArt still like popular?
No.
All right. That's what I kind of thought. I didn't know if I was like out of the loop, but
no.
So what's like
Where
the
do you
new
put- yeah.
DeviantArt? Yeah.
Reddit?
If I should. That's an advice that I've been given multiple times. If to like grow like viewership whatsoever, but I'm so lazy. ArtStation is like the top or perceived top people go and post in there. Artstation.com.
Yeah, I know.
But
about
I
one.
will say that doesn't do shit unless you want to like just get work. Like you'll find work there. Like you'll be contacted like by like company wise. Currently, I mean, or at least arguably, Twitter is the place to grow.
That makes sense.
Overall. Instagram is fine to like portfolio, like a pseudo portfolio place for artists, and you can get a lot of likes, etc. But it doesn't drive shit. If you're people that are on Instagram, that's an island that with no escape. Like
That's the recycled waste island in Japan. Like you just
it all comes full circle.
Yeah.
Right? They're there. They're not gonna go anywhere. Like they won't go to Twitter, but Twitter is like the hub where if you get a following there, they'll go here, they'll go there, they go like spread out.
It does make sense.
And probably Reddit too. But I'm
Yeah.
really lazy.
Reddit's a whole different beast too, though. Posting and trying to like actually manipulate all that. One, I mean, there's so many rules and stuff. I should know.
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention to any of them. But speaking of corporate stuff, just recently, and apparently this is unfolding as we speak. I was just updated. Apple versus Fortnite. The
It's
showdown we've all been waiting for. We just didn't know we needed. As far I'll fill in what I know, and then if you guys know something more, which evidently you do, you let me know. Fortnite, apparently, I don't know how recently, has been circumventing, I guess, what Apple... See, I don't know if legally they have to do this. It seems like they don't, but it's taboo, and if they do what they're currently doing, apps get pulled. And I think Fortnite was trying to be like, we're going to do this, and we're so big, like, you're not going to pull us. Like, we make you so much money. And so essentially what they did was, let's say I want to go buy V-Bucks. We love V-Bucks. Floss all over for V-Bucks. And it'll be like $9.99 for 1,000 V-Bucks, whatever, in Apple Store. But then right below it, it'll be like $7.99 Epic Games Store for the same amount of coins. And so they were circumventing the transaction fees and everything between Apple, making it cheaper for the customer, and I assume pretty negligible, if not the same and or a smaller profit, like a profit margin for Epic by doing that. And apparently Apple's like, oh, no. So I was just told by you guys that it got pulled. And
yes,
then
like, you cannot play Fortnite anymore on mobile, I believe. On Apple currently. It got
crazy.
pulled from the App Store. That I can't confirm. I don't know if you have it on your phone. Like, if
I think I doubt I have it downloaded. Let me see.
I was gonna say I don't.
I don't.
Because that shit takes up a lot of gigs, and I'm not gonna be sacrificing my gigs.
Here's the crazy thing: if I search in Siri Fortnite, it shows me the iOS app. I click View and Store, just white. It won't
Just a
load.
blank screen.
There's nothing.
Yep.
White screen of death.
So I don't know if you still have it on your phone. If you're
I
able
never
to
had
play it, like if it's retroactive kind of thing. But yeah, it seems. But I don't understand. So Apple takes part of the cut when you buy V-Bucks, and that's why it costs
of
more.
any transaction through the store. So that's why, because like, I don't know exactly, but that's why some prices are increased, because let's say like that, I paid $10 to Epic. Maybe, like maybe 20% of that just goes to Apple, So that's why it's artificially being increased, because they need to meet their margins, whatever, knowing that Apple will take their cut, whatever, blah, yada, blah, blah. And so Epic's like, oh, wait a second. I guess they found like a loophole or something where they're like, if we do this,
if we lower the amount of if we lower the price of V-Bucks permanently, like that's what they did.
But apparently Apple's like, no. Because I mean, I guess looking at it from the viewpoint of Apple, if they do that, Fortnite does nothing for them. I guess they get app downloads, and then they hope that people look for the rest of the store. But since it's a free-to-play game, and if all the transactions went through a third party, not being Apple, Apple's not making anything. So I could see why Apple's kind of like, bro, like they're a little pissed. Like, hey, you're making us a lot of money. We're hosting it. It's kind of like Steam, Steam takes a cut. Like, we host it here. People blah, blah, blah. And so I guess
it makes sense to me. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's kind of like, I don't know. Epic is kind of, unless will get to know more information, it's a little scummy to be like, come on, like they need to take something out of it. You're just not just gonna put it there for free.
I wonder if they're doing it to renegotiate and get maybe a better deal or something.
Ooh,
I mean, that's maybe one of the things, but like, yeah, like literally from Apple's standpoint, maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe, well, no, because it's on Android, right? Pretty sure. Yeah, because they have the Samsung Galaxy skin or whatever. Yeah. I was going to say if it's Apple only, then maybe that drives phone purchases, but it's not. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe Apple's like, all right, we got this. So many people are playing it and we make nothing. Like, we got to fix that.
Like, let's make it exclusive or something.
Yeah, so I don't know what their end goal is. They literally tweeted out the entire legal document that they're like, we're in a legal battle with Apple. It's like 65 pages. Like, I don't know what
and
I'm
our
looking
lawyer,
at.
BlueWestlo, is about to break it down for you page by.
It's a subsection. And at Blue's Corner, we've got legal advice. So that's
and the video they made, like,
oh yeah,
oh yeah,
they made like a spoof video of like the original Apple commercial or whatever, where it's like it's a take on George Orwell's like 1984. The guy's like running in, and it's like everybody's like brainwashed, whatever. They did that, but with like the Fortnite girl running in, and so yeah, I mean, this
she
is
throws, like the axe.
Yeah, throws like the llama.
This is staged. I wonder if, I don't know why they do it, but maybe this is just staged between Apple and Epic, like as one big. I don't know. I really don't know. I just don't see the end goal.
Tinfoil hats.
Yeah, apparently we are. Because I would think, why would they just stop? Well, I think the end goal is, I think Fortnite thinks that Apple has some monopoly on their app store, on their phone. I think they're upset that developers can't put games on the iPhone unless it's designed through the App Store or approved through the App Store.
Actually, yeah.
And that
there isn't any other way to get an app on there.
no, and I think that's what they're mad
maybe
about.
Epic, just like Steam, they're like, we'll make our own iOS app store.
That's what I think they like are trying and want to do. Because like in the thing, it's like don't let Apple have a monopoly on an app store or something like that. So I think what they're trying to do is like, you didn't make Fortnite. Like, what makes you guys just because you host it on your app store, you get 20% of all of our V-Bucks sales. So like, they're like not down about that. But then again, it's like, what is really like? I don't know what it could be. It could be 5, 8, 20, 1,000,000%. I don't fucking know. But like, you can't think those margins on the app store are really eating into.
It's
Epic's
not like
pockets, right?
Epic's like, man, we're struggling. It's not like, it's not a matter of we need to increase profits because we're failing. Like that's so. Again, I don't know.
Not only did they do it on the App Store, they did it on Google Play too. They banned Fortnite.
Wait,
Kicked it
really?
off. Yep, Google Play
what?
Store as well.
So they were doing the same thing with Android, I guess.
Yeah, so they were. I mean, so directly in the app, they had direct purchase through Epic Games.
I didn't
feel like
realize they were
Epic's
doing
just
it on
being a
both.
baby.
If this isn't, I mean, after hearing that, it has to be they're trying to do their own app store.
Yeah.
That's my tinfoil, Shungai
which is like
5G thing.
God, how's that going to work for? Because I mean, ultimately, like the operating systems are specific to Microsoft and whoever else develops them, Apple. So obviously, like putting your content on their phone, how are you gonna just bypass that?
Like,
are they gonna have a
Games
launcher?
phone.
Are they gonna have a
Epic Games
launcher on their phone? Oh my god! Please don't, mate. Please don't. We already have so many phones. Please
Yeah,
don't.
do not.
The Epic phone, finally.
They're like, you want to play Fortnite on mobile? You gotta buy our phone.
Buy the Epic phone. Oh
my
god. Epic Games really
Oh
is
my
getting
God.
greedy now.
like,
But the thing
I'm
is, you can
thinking
see them
about it,
doing
I'm like,
that. They could.
Well, yeah, that's
see them
why
doing that.
maybe
Ugh.
they're bold and they have a lot of money.
They're bold, and that is correct. They are loaded right now.
So I don't know. That's just a hot button topic right now that I thought, like, literally this day as we're recording what's going on.
They've gotten
And
so brave.
I felt we had to talk about it. More recent gaming news also. We've kind of talked about it before with the implosion of Mixer and then the Dr. Disrespect drama. Dr. Disrespect, out of nowhere, is just like, yo, I'm streaming on YouTube. And he's just back. And on his first stream, he's like, I know you're all going to ask, like, what happened? His answer is, he still doesn't know. I don't buy it.
Bullshit.
Oh, he knows.
100%, yeah. He's got to know something, but he's just trying to skate past it. So, but clearly it's not in his favor or like a stunt. This is performed, I think. Like, there's some legal trouble. He has to know, because whatever legal battle they're in, which they have to be in, would obviously let him know what exactly is going on. But I think it's just like gag orders or whatever. And I think it's just weird that that's the approach he took. I don't know. Maybe his lawyers are like, this is what you got to do. I don't know.
Sounds about right.
But just randomly showed up.
There has to be something going on. You just don't get banned from Twitch randomly and not know why, especially when you're the doc. All right. You know why.
Yeah. And not just
it has
temp,
to be
subs renewed or refunded, everything.
Yeah, it has to. I don't know. He had to have been either pissing somebody off at Amazon or I think the bathroom thing in the summer or something. I don't know what it is.
No, guys. I know, but I can't tell you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Of course.
Classic.
It's all right, John.
Which, like,
of course, John knows though.
People were hating, like, it's a meme right now because this guy who leaks a lot of video game stuff, his name's Slasher on Twitter. He leaked like the day of, like, I know what it is, but like I can't say like it's so bad or like legally whatever. And so everyone's like making fun of him, like, you don't know. But I kind of think he does know. I'm more inclined to believe him than Doc about the I don't know what it is.
I think he might have a clue. To it.
He might not know exactly, or maybe when he tweeted it, he might have been jumping the gun a little bit. Like,
he might have gotten like insider info and was like, "Oh yeah, I know."
Yeah.
But it probably wasn't like fully
I
accurate.
think he was talking to somebody, and the person was like, "No, I can't tell you anything. Like, please stop asking." And then when they got up to leave, they dropped a piece of gum wrapper. They dropped a gum wrapper
Like a
Oh my
note.
god.
with the gum they were eating, and they dropped it while they were walking away.
He's like,
And, like,
spearmint. Wait,
and
how many
it was
letters are in
like a
spearmint?
code word or a hint that was like in the said thing.
And then it
He
led
got,
to
like, a code word or
coordinates
something.
on a map. He found a warehouse, and the
Yes.
it went deep.
Like the ruby eagle is down.
I'm
Oh
not
my
saying
God.
that
Oh my-
exactly happened, but
oh
I'm
my
saying
god.
He's like, opened up his
somebody
thing.
left a
Ruby Eagle is
little-
down.
Oh,
Ah.
no way.
So we have no idea. But Doc's back. His first stream peaked at like 550,000 viewers. So sad for him. So obviously he's doing well. And we don't know for sure, but I imagine he struck a deal with YouTube. Had to have,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
would YouTube want to do a deal with him when they're like, what the fuck is going? Why is Twitch?
I feel like though,
not-
if they did, that had to be part of it or something. Like YouTube, I don't think would have signed him not knowing, hey, why are you
what
in
is going
trouble?
on?
Yeah, like,
legally? Like,
okay, but why'd you get banned from them? I don't think they're like, screw it, we'll take you.
yeah, and YouTube's not going to take the answer of, I can't tell you that.
Like
sorry,
we
Google.
we still don't know. I don't know. Wild stuff. The saga continues to unfold. I hope at the very least, like, we just get an answer. I don't care if it's
Well-
literally like some boring contract breach that's like, I don't know, super
it's
legal,
just-
but
This
it's
was
fair.
around the time that everyone was getting
Yeah, like
canceled because of
yeah,
Me Too'd.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, rightfully
And
so.
Given his story or history,
Yeah, yeah.
rather, I mean, not making
It was just
assumptions.
really weird
yeah.
timing
Yeah.
for everything. It was just, and then for it to not have any, and then people go, I know, but I can't say because it's like so
Love that.
bad. And then it's just like, well,
Just
then what is it?
stokes the fire.
Yeah.
It's wild.
But I'll tell you, okay, I have to ask you guys this. So not only is Doc back, we all saw Shroud is back as well on Twitch, which I think in the grand scheme, if I was ahead of a live streaming company, I would think Shroud is the number one streamer to have on the platform. Like if I was to have a platform built on a streamer, it would be Shroud. Specifically in the terms of like, if there's a new shooter that is coming out and like people want to watch the best streamer play it, he's not the best, but like raw aiming talent and just kind of that kind of skill and stuff, he's the best at that.
If he wanted to be the best, he could be probably.
Well,
could.
yeah.
I think he's clearly one of the most important. Not from like a purely like exposure perspective, because I mean, I feel like if you were to ask, like people would obviously know Ninja and Dr. Disrespect better, but like as far as people
Yeah,
who
I guess.
obviously use Twitch, right? People
Yeah.
who are familiar with Twitch, Shroud is obviously in his own lane.
Mhm.
So I would say it's super important to have Shroud for just the hardcore Twitch user base.
I
I
just
go
think
as far as
it's
saying that Shroud. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to put it out there that Shroud has a positive image in and out of Twitch. Has a positive image to the company. Has a positive image to the viewers and also to the streamers. Now that's really important because some of the streamers that I'm not gonna name, they were like good with kids, but maybe they weren't like streamers didn't really like them, so to speak. Like Shroud is like, I can't think of anyone who would point at that guy. What the fuck is up with that beard? I hate this guy. Like
he hasn't
everyone loves
burned any
Shroud.
bridges. He hasn't
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
just a good dude.
like you don't have
I
to
love
worry he's
Shroud,
gonna
everyone
say
loves
something
Shroud.
dumb or something. Like he's just he literally embodies the I play video games and stream kind of dude.
His
That's-
gameplay speaks for him. Like that,
Exactly.
he doesn't have to do anything. His
He's-
gameplay is.
He's
the-
loved because he is so neutral.
Yeah, Shroud just wants to sleep. Let him sleep.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, now here's my other question. Oh, Christian, go ahead. Most important streamer to a platform.
Oh,
Like
well, I
if
was
you
gonna
were to
say
start a
he's one side of the coin.
Yeah.
Because I think the other side is somebody who drives with just personality.
Yeah.
Like Shroud, you don't watch Shroud just because of his personality. And I mean,
No, not at all.
he'll admit that. Like He's just really good. Like, if you want to see top tier gameplay, because right now, if you were to go to Twitch, majority of the top ones are people good at the game. Some of them are just like pros or insane, and others are I'm good, but I also have entertainment value or like a brand, a personality. And so I think you have to get one or the other. Like Blue said, like Ninja might not be the best. He kind of first got known because he was doing well, but then it was just his brand and who he was. Whereas Shroud is just like, this dude's cracked at any shooter. Like, just watch.
Yeah,
like
he'll get it after 2 games.
Yeah, like just watch 30-second clip and you'll be like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
that's how it was for me.
Shroud is a stream, whereas other people are a brand.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to say who you think is the personality of Twitch, or you would hope at least?
Right now,
you guys want to call someone else?
If I like on the personality side, you'd have to think like Nick Merckx or Tim. Like,
I was gonna say
XQC,
right now,
even,
but he's like the Papega side, you know. Like that's the like him and Forsen are like, that's like just a different Twitch, you know.
That's just like a different breed of Twitch.
Like the weird meme culture, like meme culture.
Yeah.
Far right
and
meme,
then,
like it's like super memey.
My one gotta be Moon.
Yeah, and then him too.
I would say Moon for me personally.
Yeah, Moon. He got like, okay, I know this was just a meme, but he got like not long ago, top streamers were making the what is it called?
The tier list?
They were like rating the tier list, and Moon was like most of them, like at the top, like S tier and whatnot.
It's weird they missed us, but
what's cool about what Moon has shown is like, if you have a community, you can literally play anything you want, and you can literally like, I think he had that retro month where he literally played only games that were like made in the 80s and 90s. Like he's the man. He really is.
But he has the community that he has because of himself.
Yeah, it's
like, he's like so like I like you, I don't like you, get out. And he like controls what is okay. Like he truly has control over chaos, which a lot like XQC and all that. I like watching them. I like the Papega streamers, what they call the Papega streamer house or whatever. I like them, but like they have no control for the most part. You know, other than like clapping the hands and they get subs whenever they do the whole like joke, like, oh, give me subs. And like that happens. Other than that, it's like they barely have any control. Moon, you don't look at his view count. Like, disregard his view count. Look at the quality of his streams, the jokes he makes. He's very unique in a sense. Like he's like an island. I like to compare him to that. He's like an island on Twitch where it's like he has his own paradise that he made for himself, and he like crafted, you know, like almost like an artist. It's like he crafted, and he has like very unique memes that echo. Even you might not even like at the first glance think that he has any impact, but he does. But it's all it's like a subtle echo that then expands throughout the whole of Twitch. And I'm a big fan. Yeah.
I would say Moon is, the comparison is 100% correct. He's living on an island that is a kingdom, and everybody is asking for like, oh, well, what are you guys doing over there? Hey, what's on this island? Hey, what are you guys doing over there? And then boom, suddenly Moon does something, and it's Twitch culture. Like,
well, that was just about to say, like the stick bug, like all of a sudden stick bug is a thing
from Moon community, like
because Moon made that a thing. Like, like the BTT animated emotes are because of Moon. Like a lot of things are because of Moon. So I could definitely see that for sure on that side of the coin.
Yeah, I would say like most important people. I would say Moon is the most important streamer to Twitch. Maybe not to Twitch directly, but like for like Twitch culture, he's 100% the most important.
And the reason why Twitch is surviving on top of all the other streaming platforms is not only longevity, it's the culture. Like there's nothing like Twitch, like culturally wise speaking, you know. So yeah.
Another thing that I think this is probably on the sadder side. Halo Infinite, Christian.
It's not
has
on the
been-
sadder side. I'm not sad
What do
about
you
it.
mean it's not on the sadder side?
I mean, sad, I guess, for Microsoft because they're like, this is the thing we've been working on. This is going to launch with a new console. JK, we don't have like any launch titles, first party launch titles with their new Xbox. Buy it, please. I don't know. They're delayed it into 2021. And all I can say is thank you. Somebody listen. You listen to the, like, I mean, if that doesn't make you realize that that demo they showed is what they have, people are like, it's like months old build.
It has to be, right? That's what that told me. is
Like,
the fact
that's
that they were
pretty
delaying
recent.
it.
Like, you wouldn't wait for a delay and make this incredible thing with us, like something old. You'd be like, this
It's
needs
going to
to
be a launch title too. Like
this is like most companies devote insane amount of money and time specifically for like E3 showcases and stuff. Like they would have ideally, like, what if that really was it and everything? Like they normally polish out that entire spot. But the fact they didn't and everything just speaks to whatever is going on there is a dumpster fire.
Like normally you would put so much into a reveal. In fact, normally you would put too much into a reveal.
Yeah.
And so like for this to be the presentation was just like, man, like this is
Yeah.
this
It's
is
rough.
good.
Like Chief.
If it was old, it must have been like, I would give it tops 2, maybe 3 months old, and that's like insignificant. Like it's still too close.
I was watching it and I was like, this has to be like 6 months, 7 months old. Like this has to be a super old.
I certainly
build.
hope this is like a year
Like,
old. Personally.
Yeah, like, well, I was giving them like the benefit of the doubt, like this is Corona, and like they're like, well, we can't capture it on like the newer gameplay, like we have to capture it on some older stuff that we have, and then why I knew they were in really big trouble when I was watching it. Not one time did they really do, outside of coming out of the Pelican, did they do a really nice E3 kind of pan on
like
the
slow pan.
Yeah, like you really
because
didn't
the one
really see
time they
that.
did, I was like,
It was like yeesh.
like, ooh. So yeah, I'm not complaining. I would rather you. Here's the thing: people remember a game if it becomes great but released bad. People remember when it released bad, like Fallout 76.
Yep.
Let's say people like praise that right now, but all I think is the absolute dumpster fire that it was when it launched, and a lot of other people do. But
Like the
people
praise of
won't
vocal
remember.
minority.
Yeah, but people are way less likely to remember a game if it got delayed but then came out and was great. Because it's just like, oh yeah, that game was great. They're not like, man, it sucked we had to wait a year. But instead just be like, yo, that dude, instead of this game sucks, and a year later being like, oh, okay, it's finally at a place, and then you try and convince your friends, no, dude, like that was trash.
Well, one of the best examples is Destiny, right? Like, because in the circle, there's moments where it's like, oh, it's a great game. There's moments where it's, oh, it's a bad game. To the larger like gaming audience of just like natural, like normal consumers, Destiny is not exactly a high reputation game, and it's because it's launched bad twice.
Yeah.
So that lasts. Like if your launch is bad, like that doesn't come off your
That'll
reputation.
follow you.
That follows you forever.
That's what I'm saying. Take your time, make it a good game.
What comes out first, Cyberpunk or Halo Infinite?
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk probably.
Probably, and that's saying something because I think
Yep.
Cyberpunk's 2021. I still think it's going to get delayed out of this year.
Really? Because I think it is too. I think they're gonna say we need a little bit more time, and I think
I'm
more
gonna be
people
like,
are gonna
I'll be one of those people. Like, good, do it.
because I've
if you need it.
watched those like tech demos of like, and I'm not blown away by a lot of the stuff. If I can't like, who was it? I think it was Arcanum. If I can't really walk through that door, then like how really open world is this? You know what I mean? Like I want it to be. And the same thing with Halo. It needs to be something that is like, because if Halo Infinite doesn't hit, this really could be it for Halo. Like they better wrap up the campaign in this one if this sucks, because this could really truly be the nail in the coffin for Halo. Unless 343 wants to be like, is there a company in Microsoft that wants to do this?
Anyone? Even though they literally made 343 for that exact reason. So can't see that happening.
Please, bro, take it. Take
But
the
yeah,
franchise.
like Jesus, please put like the crazy thing too though is if it does get delayed, odds are it's going to be delayed until fall 2021, like holiday season, because they're going to want a big first party title around holiday season.
Yeah, they don't want
And-
to release it in like February, March. Like they're
And
not
they're
going to put it out
the
there.
only other big ones we saw in the showcase were Fable and Avowed that were first party, and there's no way those are going to be ready.
I was going to say, are those launch titles for
No,
the
those are
Xbox?
years out.
Okay, I think I can say something about this. Before Lionheads fucked up, I literally signed a contract to work on Fable. But I can say this because it was like years ago, and then it all broke down apart. So I'm not like under any NDA. This was a while ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, and that was the new Fable that they were like working on. And I was supposed to, I mean, me along other people, were supposed to do concepts and all that. Like we had a test and whatnot. I passed it. They're like, okay, and then a week. Maybe anywhere between a week to 3, like it stalled. I never heard anything from them, and then I heard that the whole like thing went down, and like Lionhead is gone. So,
Yeah, so-
I knew that the Fable would be done, but if they were working on it and they have like the CGI thing, the trailer, maybe they've been working on it for a year.
Let's
And
see.
that's not enough.
I think they're super early. I mean, for all we know, like all you have to do is commission that thing out to 3D animation studio, which is what a lot of people do.
But usually they do that. They need at least some base to like keep going, because where are they getting that money from? Right.
Let me introduce you to Anthem.
Oh
Because-
my God, here we go. Here
They
we
need something to base.
go.
No, they had a thing years ago, and little did we know at that point it's like pen and paper.
That had a lot of E3 pans too at the
Yeah, a lot of E3 pans. Little did we know that was all fake. Like nothing was. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's why I'm saying like don't. As far like, and from what I've heard, Fable's a couple years out. Avowed too, like literally again a really vague CGI. Plus, I believe it's from Obsidian. They just wrapped up Outer Worlds and the DLC, so they might just be entering like pre-production. They've probably been doing like conceptualization and all that kind of stuff. Now they might finally be getting people in. But
What is
it's gonna be a while.
what's the Xbox's launch titles now?
As far as I'm aware, it's all old and third-party titles. No first-party launch titles.
What is going to make people want and go buy an Xbox?
They really don't
Who-
have an opening. Halo is supposed to be it, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously, but they don't really have. I mean, I think for most people who are buying an Xbox, the biggest selling point is having compatibility with old titles, which for me is like not a selling point.
Yeah, like at
It
this
should
point,
do that anyways.
Yeah.
Like
No. I mean, the other thing is one where your friends going. If your friends are going to Xbox, you'll go. And then the other thing too is like if you're still going to get Halo anyway, you're going to get an Xbox anyway, right? Even if it means it's going to be later, you're either getting one
Yeah.
now or when it comes out. So I don't know, just this one I would even argue some of PlayStation too. It doesn't feel like when these release, like it's a I have to get this.
consoles. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't have to
feel
get it
that way
right now.
either.
I feel like you can wait a year, maybe next holiday, then be like, oh, okay, there's actually some stuff. Sure.
PS4, Xbox 360, and like the new Xbox One, it was like, I need this. And maybe Xbox One, not so much. I don't think I had that feeling, almost because I just had that with PS4 more so. But
PS4 is hype.
even with the PS5, I don't think it's that hype. Like, why
So
do I
far,
need a
no.
PS5? Maybe Horizon isn't a launch title, right?
Bloodborne 2.
Yeah, like
Oh.
if that was a
The
launch
Souls
title,
like remaster, remake, whatever.
oh, the Demon Souls, like
yeah, Demon Souls.
But will that be like on launch title?
I don't
Like
know.
we don't know anything. We don't know how much they cost because I think they're afraid. I think they're afraid to be like, this is $700.
I don't think Sony's afraid. I think Sony is waiting. This is exactly how they dominated
one-up
so hard
Xbox.
last gen. They were waiting for Xbox to be like, "Yo, here's a price," and then Sony's gonna be like, "Here's our price, bitch," and then boom, there you go.
See,
Sony's
no,
in the lead.
I think they're both afraid to be like, you show them, and then they're like, no, you show them, and they're like,
No,
no,
you
you
tell
show them. Yeah, like you're gonna have to tell them. Like, no, I don't want to tell them. You tell them.
Get the intern.
So
to
I
do
think
it. Oh.
at some point they're gonna be like, I think like Xbox is gonna be like, 650. And everyone's like, oh my god, they're idiots. Who's gonna buy that? And then Sony's gonna
600. Oh, get fucked, Xbox.
Oh.
no, I think they'll be like 700, and then everyone's gonna be like, what? Or like even 600. I think people are gonna be like, sure, it's 50 or like $100, but like still for a at-home console that in 5 or 6 years I'll have to get the new one or whatever.
Well,
or
no, I mean, life
10 years,
cycles
I
are
guess.
getting longer for each.
Life
Each
cycle, yeah,
one.
life cycles are definitely getting longer.
So I can have my PS5 sounding like a Harrier in 3 years, I guess. For yeah,
Well, mine
because
sounds
it
like-
will. Don't lie to me, Sony, because it's gonna.
I don't care if you got cool event things. It's gonna
It
happen.
does look cool though. It looks cool. It does look cool.
But that's even what my PS4 Pro sounds like playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh my god.
But like when I'm playing that game though, I'm like, you could have fooled me. Like if you said like this is a next gen title, and then I'm like, then I think back to what Halo Infinite was, and it's still just like, what happened? I don't get it. But
Little did you know, when you play Ghost of Tsushima and the fans go crazy, dude, that's part of the plan. It's immersion sound.
Yeah.
The fans are like the wind.
The
You know what I
wind.
mean?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm so immersed. Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic game.
Is there any other topics we wanted to hop on before we move to Patreon questions?
Uno más.
Okay.
Oh.
What is it? Oh, I love that. Love when you do that.
Dude, nice.
I
Uno
want
más.
to try.
Yeah. me
It's
too.
not working.
USB cam boys.
Hey.
At least I am.
Netflix screwed the pooch on live action Avatar.
Oh,
Dude,
that's right.
Dude, I don't understand. Like, this is literally deja vu. Like,
With
yeah,
M.
there's
Night
creative differences with the creators of the show. Scrap the project. Just scrap
Here's
the
my-
project.
I'm sorry.
Here's my thing.
What's confusing?
How can you have creative differences with the people who created?
Exactly.
Well, see, there's
Said-
the problem.
You know what?
Why
you
are
know
there
what I
creative
mean?
that
differences?
is the problem. Yeah.
Like, I feel like they're in a room with like a bunch of old people who don't understand, like, and they're just like, no, we're gonna
Here's the-
have like,
Here's the thing, though. Like, the people who were working on the show have to know, right?
Well, we should.
Like,
Okay. Well,
The
let me.
precedent of the last live action Avatar.
Yeah, I haven't even prefaced though, like what exactly happened. So, I think their names like Brian and Mark. Could be wrong. But the creators of Avatar, The Last Airbender, they since like 2018 signed on with Netflix and were helping to make the live action adaptation, of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Probably one because it could be sick, and two to redeem the absolute mess that was M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong's friggin' Avatar movie, dude.
I for one liked it.
Shut up, no, you didn't.
I haven't seen it. Haven't seen it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't even lie to me. You got to be sick, messed up in the head if you say you like that movie. Anyway, just garbage. So they're like, all right, we can do this right, and Netflix is doing it. So you're like, oh, great, they've been doing some great stuff.
And it's a series, which is even better.
Which means you got more time to flesh it out. And I guess generally Netflix has been considered to be pretty hands off. Like, here's your project, do what you want. But if the creators have been on it for 2 years and have gotten to the point where like, we can't, like, that's it, we bow out, it's not working. What? Like, there are a lot of theories going on. Claire told me apparently one of the popular ones is that Netflix wants to like alter the timeline a little bit and like bend to shippers. So for instance, like Katara will end with Zuko or something. Like maybe that was it. And Brian and Mark, I think, were like, no, like the whole point is this. Or it could be something like that or something even bigger. Because I feel like they could amend that. But if you have the creators bowing out, like, and the way they were saying it too was like pretty much whatever they're doing is nothing like what we would do, which does not bode well with one, live action Avatar previously, and two, Netflix's history with live action anime adaptations.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, you got
Death Note.
what
Yeah.
I think is Netflix saw the kind of hype and drive that Korra and Avatar like was driving just having the reruns. So with like the live action remakes, I think they're like, what can we do to not only have it just be these 2 kind of quick seasons that it was originally, or what was it, like 3 books or whatever? Or
I mean, that's what the
how many
original was.
how many episodes was it like originally?
60, 20 per
So
season.
I think they wanted like something that could go way longer than that and then go into Korra or something with a story, and they were just like, that's not at all what this is. And then
Here's what I hope. Brian and them have now been relinquished and someone else will take them, and now they finally get to make their own project. And maybe make something again in the Avatar realm that they want to do. I don't know. Though. It just gives me...
Why didn't they do that before then? Don't they need
Well, they
like
took a
studio's
break.
money?
Well, because Nickelodeon screwed them over with Korra.
Screwed them.
Yeah. Like, I couldn't even begin to go into how they just messed them up. So that burned them out, and then they went on to do some different stuff, and then came back with Netflix for this. And so now they'll go on to do their own thing again. Maybe that's Avatar, because originally after Korra, they said, like, we're done with the Avatar, like,
series
world. Just, yeah, like everything. And then they've changed their minds. So we'll see if they do something else. I'd be excited to see that, because at this point, I have no hope.
Me.
I have no hope.
It kills me. Avatar could be such a huge brand. And clearly, maybe not like the biggest brand, but you can clearly see there's just a gigantic cult following of it. Huge cult following. And there could be so much to it. But like, God, the show creators always constantly get screwed over and over and over, dude. It's upsetting.
I just don't understand how you can have creative differences over something that somebody else created. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, no, like they're like, no, this is how like I intended it, and I think this is where it should go. No, what? Yeah,
Man.
like,
Well, that's true.
like it's just, it doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't get the audacity of somebody saying like, yeah, I can see where your idea is of your own idea, but
What if we
here's
did this?
my idea. Like, this is what we're gonna do because I'm funding this.
And I was just so excited. Like, they'll be able to redeem it. This will help the brand so much. And that's like, who knows where it could go. But now we're going to get a movie redo, I bet. Like, it's...
and they said, like, whatever they do, like, it's not part of our creation.
Yeah, they're like, whatever they're doing is
think
a
like
complete diversion.
it is, yeah, just some wacky thing.
And people won't be as interested because they're like, oh, the original creators didn't do it. It's not
Yeah.
funny.
That's why I was interested in the first place. I was like, oh, they're getting the original showrunners. Okay, this is going to be sick. Well, here we are.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so I had to bring that up. I'm upset about it. Netflix, feel free to prove me wrong, but you are fighting an uphill battle. So.
Well, we can move on to Patreon questions. We'll make it quick because it's almost another 3-hour podcast. We're owning.
Oh, it's been 3 hours. Oh my god.
Almost. Yeah.
I talked so much. I'm so sorry.
No. It's like time flies when you're having fun. Question from Z Train says, question for John and as well as Blue. Looks like we don't create art, Christians, so they don't want us to know.
My videos aren't art.
What are your applications of choice when editing and creating graphics?
I need to pee really quick. Like, I'll be right.
Like, what software do I use?
Yeah, I guess what applications and software do you use in terms of?
I don't want to give Photoshop more ads as they have, but sadly, I grew up using Photoshop. I'm trying to move away from it because
I thought Photoshop, that's all there is. Like,
No,
is there
no,
really
there's other stuff out there.
There's
Like,
a
I
lot
think
of
Clip
other
Studio Paint is pretty good. Procreate, but that's iPad. So I use those two, Photoshop, and I do paint on my iPad, which I use Procreate. But I am trying to transition from Photoshop into something else because Photoshop has a monopoly and they're lazy and they don't really care that much about like
they don't innovate
artists.
like their program or anything.
Yeah, no. I mean, they just don't care. Like, they implement things that like we asked 10 years ago, like literally. they're like, oh, now we have it. But anyway, yeah, that's for me.
I pretty much always use Photoshop or Illustrator. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I haven't like. I really want to learn how to use other things because Adobe is look, man. There's a lot of reasons why I don't want to use Adobe, but it's just Photoshop and Illustrator are just so good. It's rough. It's tough.
Who is Adobe a Microsoft run company, or like is Adobe
No.
a separate like
Adobe
entity?
is
Like,
Adobe.
Yeah, separate.
okay, so
Adobe's Adobe.
Adobe's like its own thing.
They're their own thing,
Yeah.
and they basically have a monopoly on creative suites for design creatives and any creative. It is disheartening because they have such a huge reach. They make such terrible decisions with their software, and it's so frustrating. But like, I can't find a true god tier replacement for Photoshop, so here I am.
Yeah.
I guess Christian, what do you use when you decide to use graphic design? Like, do you Photoshop?
Illustrator.
Oh,
Again,
Because I
Adobe.
mainly did vector art and stuff. So
It's Adobe.
This question is from Jumby. It says, question for John: what is your favorite piece you've ever worked on? And alternatively, what is your worst piece, or I guess the piece you didn't like the best? I guess.
Okay,
I don't
I'll
know what
show you.
worst piece would be. Like somebody got it
I'll
and was
show
like,
you.
no, like I don't want this.
Okay, I like showing this to people. It's a motivational thing more than not, but you're gonna have to give me just a second while I get it.
That's
The one
okay.
that I consider like the best is, so if you go to my art station and you search for the podcast people, and you go on artstation.com/John Silva, like no
Uh-huh.
space whatsoever. There is a girl. I'll link it here in the chat, but there's a
Okay.
girl that has a glowing sword and like butterflies coming out of it. It's not hard.
Oh,
to
I've seen that piece. I believe. I think that's the. Is that the
Yeah.
one I messaged you on?
oh,
And then the other one. So to answer the other side of the question, it was the very first time I tried to make a serious painting. I'll post it right there. That's like my progress of 3 years. So I sent the link now. There's a planet
jeez.
guy with a top hat, and he has a city on his back, and I don't know what's happening.
Just the
I don't know what-
progress in those couple years, though, is insane.
I told you I went ham on it.
Yeah, and it shows.
That's crazy. It's literally like the guy you, and then the guy she
Yeah,
tells you
you
not
versus
to
the
worry
guy.
about.
That's insane.
So
Like
yeah.
what? How many layers is that? Like in a normal like drawing that you do, I guess drawing is the wrong word. Is it, or what do you say? Like
Drawing, painting, I don't
okay.
care. It's-
Okay.
Yeah.
How many layers is that, or is that just something that isn't even a thing, and I'm just being naive and dumb?
No. Okay, so I always end up with about 3 layers at the end of a painting, which I have the background separate, then the character, if it's a character centric like illustration, and then special effects. Usually those 3 are like industry standard, like absolute bare minimum. You always gotta have those 3 separated. But I do a lot of like what we call temporary layers. So like I'll make a new layer, I'll doodle or I'll do some stuff or some effects or whatever. Once I'm happy with it, I merge the layer to whatever I'm painting on, right? So if I'm doing something on the background, I might create like even 10 temporary layers. Once I'm happy with the look, I'll merge them. So I end up with 1 background layer. So I do probably like I got into the habit of doing a lot of temporary layers, but I constantly merge them. But probably like 100 by the end.
That's
of,
so
like,
crazy.
Temporary layers, but at the very end I only have like 3 or 4, or like I don't think it gets to double digits.
Yeah. This question is from Radiant G. Says more of a lighthearted question this week. What is your guys' favorite type of cookie? For example, mine is Snickerdoodle, and I'm going to agree with you. Snickerdoodle is the far superior of the cookies.
I like
Or Chips Ahoy and milk.
I like classic, the big cookies with the chocolate chips in it, homemade, like especially if it's homemade. Like, and also they gotta be big. I don't like the small ones. They gotta be big, and the chunks gotta be big as well. I can't think of a specific brand, but like just classic.
Yeah, just a
like,
nice classic chocolate chip
yeah.
cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go either Snickerdoodle or M&M. Because M&M sometimes just hit different. But if it's homemade, just like chocolate chip.
Can't go wrong.
True.
Blue?
Wait, hold on. I got lost in everyone's answers again. I don't know why I keep doing
What is
this.
your
What was the
favorite type
question?
of cookie?
God, everyone was like Snickerdoodles, and I was like, "Ah, that sounds so. Wait a minute, fuck.
What do you think
Okay,
is the
I know. I'm
meaning
sorry.
of life?
I'm sorry.
Snickerdoodles.
Favorite type of dessert, right? Wait, cookie. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Cookie.
Everyone starts talking, and I just get so into what they're saying, and then I forget what we're talking about. I can't help it. Okay. Probably just the I don't know, just the classic chocolate chip is just too good, man.
Yeah.
Like just a nice warm gooey chocolate chip right out of the
Ooh.
oven.
Crispy
Don't break
edges, but gooey center. Mhm.
Yeah. Stop, bro, please. Oh, you know what else is really good is like white chocolate with like pecan cookies. Those are also
I do
pretty
like
up
those.
there.
I do like
You lost
those.
me at the
Those-
pecans.
Yeah, those are just damn, dude.
This question is from Jake11 Raptor. Where do you recommend buying art/fan art from, especially anime fan art, if possible? My recommendation would be conventions when those were a thing, like TwitchCon conventions.
Back
and like,
in my day.
like that's where I got Christian a cool Avatar Last Airbender from last TwitchCon, which was in about a month now. So Shark's had it for a year now.
Yeah.
Hasn't
Shark.
found time to go to the local post office and just literally say, "Hey, here's this." But yeah, but that's what I'd say.
I mean, as an artist, either commission them. That's like the best of the best. But find out if they do any prints. And like, I'd say just go straight to the. If you can't find a shop or anything, go straight to the artist. Like, avoid shops that sell bulk images. Like usually the. I don't want to say like the Chinese websites or just like weird looking websites that there's a bunch of art in it. Probably that art is yoinked from some artist that's like not known. Yeah, pretty much.
This is yours?
Yeah.
This is mine now.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can think of how many times I went to like I don't know. Even eBay has those. They just yoink stuff from artists and like make them cheap and then they sell them. But try to find out who drew it. I don't know, use like a reverse image search type of thing. If you like a specific type of art, and see if you can get their socials, contact them, or usually chances are if they have a place where you can buy posters, it will be like it will be somewhere. There's no way they would make not advertise it. So
We only buy OC here, original content.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's see. The almost done here. Banderin asks, how was the process to find your personal drawing style?
When I stopped searching for it, it's a culmination of interests and experience. So there was times that I was like, I'm gonna make my own art style. I'd say like your own art style comes from a place where you don't try. You just paint the way you like. Because for example, there's an artist, I'll just quickly go over it, called Brad Rigney. Google him out. Brad Rigney. He's amazing. His oh my god, those look like photos. And I always loved his art style, and at some point I chased doing it, and I wanted to like take from him but do my own thing. I ended up not liking it. Like I liked looking at it, but I hated doing it. So it was like a weird thing. The moment I stopped going for my art style and just painted, like as I'm painting, I'm enjoying the process while simultaneously like enjoying the outcome. And it's that and interests. And I would also advise you to not just look at art. Look at like completely like different things away from art, because I feel like a lot of artists, they will go like on ArtStation and they look through the amazing images and it's very inspirational and all that, but then you'll end up following like a couple of people or doing what they do, and you're still, it's like everyone is taking from everyone in the same circle, and that tends to make you look like everyone else. So get interest from other things, be influenced by non artists, you know. And have fun. That's it. Like, you gotta have fun.
We have the last question from Ocho Bay. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Question for all: what is your favorite type of art? See, that's like I wouldn't know what it's called. You know what I mean? I would just know if I like it. You know what I mean? And then I also like, am I talking like ooh art, or am I talking like cool like Dragon Ball Z art, or am I talking like or am I talking like Claw of the Shadows art? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for example, I don't know, anime versus like realistic oil paintings versus, I don't know, League versus.
What would you say your style is, John?
Six More Vodka. I love what they do, like storytelling, art style.
I like that art style. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I'd
That's my
say
favorite.
2D animation, I guess.
Like,
Just
I
2D
love
animation.
pixel art too.
Oh yeah. Oh, that is true. I do like me some good pixel art, but I would probably say
love good pixel art.
2D animation, especially good 2D animation, like Demon Slayer. Like, that's like high quality. Just like,
oh my god, Demon Slayer is a masterpiece. It's like a visual masterpiece.
You can say what you want about the anime quality, which I think is a great anime, because I know it's controversial because anime stands fight over it, but you cannot tell me the animation is not tippity top tier in the anime landscape. It's just so good, dude.
People are like, it's not that. Like, you're just like saying that to be like hot take
Like,
Joe guy, and just
on.
be like, I'm different. Like,
I don't care that you don't like the anime, dude. All right, but you can't tell me that animation is not some of the best you've ever seen.
Absolutely. I mean, there are definitely some hit or miss ones, especially some of the more obscure ones. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, everything you see is pretty like we've talked about. There's some super episodes where it's like,
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really bother me, but I know sometimes it's evident. You can just kind of look and be like, something's off. Or like the transition from One Punch Man season 1 to season 2 was very obvious to a lot of people, because I mean, they switched studios completely and everything. Wasn't, and I know you disagree with me, Blue, but you can see it through the progression of Korra.
No,
I hit you with it. I know.
How dare you?
I know. It's that meme where it's like tough pills to swallow. You know, that's yours. I'm sorry.
Before mom and dad start fighting and get a divorce and break up the podcast, we should probably end it here. John, thank you so much for joining us, dude, and giving us the perspective that I think we all wanted to hear and like see. And honestly, I wanted to know about it, and I learned a lot.
Thank you for your time, John.
Thank you for having me,
John.
I still like. It feels very surreal for me that you guys want me in the podcast, but
dude, I had my favorite artist on. That's awesome.
Oh my god! I hope just anyone listening I didn't bore you too much. I like talking. If you want to talk to me, I stream. And we can talk.
Where do you stream? Plug whatever you want.
Twitch.tv/John_Silva_.
And that is
Your favorite streamer.
SILVA.
Do you post your art anywhere specifically that if you had like where anybody?
Twitter is it's the center of everything. It's what gets the first news. It's what gets the first posts and anything. So I think my Twitter is John Silva Art. Even I don't know my handle. Yeah, John Silva Art. All like
cool
together. Yeah.
Well, twitch.tv/RobbieV. You know where to find me.
Blue, where can they find you?
You can find me over at BlueWestlo.
And you can find me somewhere, Mr. Fruit. Maybe not. Or maybe Mrs. Fruit. Whoa. Actually,
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, I have a wife, by the way. But
well, yeah. Wife. I have a wife, dude. Like, she's my wife. Anyway, that is episode 50. Coming up on a year. Thank you again for all the guests, including John, for joining us. We appreciate you all. Thank you very much for watching and or listening. This is GG Over Easy. Bye.